Hello. Hello. James, can you hear me? Hello, James. Testing. Testing. 159. You can hear me. Why can't I hear you? This is some witchcraft. Hi. I need to turn this on. Mute microphone. The thing's not working. Hello? Hello? Can you still hear me? I can't hear you. Are you talking? Oh, hey, there's a thing.
What just happened?
Hi.
Oh, hey, Josh. What's going on?
What's up?
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Great. I clicked the link and, yeah, here I am.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I couldn't hear James, but I can hear you. You can hear me. I can see you, too.
Well, I have a great iPhone, then I'll... This is kind of weird. So what's going on?
Nothing. I'm getting ready for this AMA thing. I'm actually painting right now. I gotta paint a bunch of vampires. Well, just one, really. Okay.
Just one player. You are a fast painter, my friend.
Yeah. He's only got one coat. He's getting there.
What miniature series is that from?
I think you gotta order it. The RN Studio, I think it is. Yeah. Here you go. This guy.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. It looks like Dirk Danzig.
It looks like the Norse that Chris hates.
Yeah.
All right, so we're just waiting. I mean, I didn't know if I was supposed to be here because I just clicked the link and hello.
Yeah, I know. We can hear each other, but I can't. Ryan will be there. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, we just can't hear James for some reason. It's weird.
He's
Oh well.
something technical.
Apparently he can hear us, so you don't wanna make fun of him when he's not here or nothing.
No problem. Just leave it alone.
Okay.
Base up here, right? Right. And some of the cargo planes, the Globemasters.
Hi.
What's up, guys?
Hi.
I'm gonna keep myself on mute as I'm pulling into the train station.
Oh, okay.
Could you guys hear me?
Yes. Oh, wow. Crazy reverb on that.
Oh yeah, hold on. Is that better?
No, it's still happening.
No, you need to fix that.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Oh my god, I don't understand why I'm having all these technical difficulties tonight. I do the same thing every time. I actually have to use my phone. My laptop just decided to tell me to go fuck myself.
Was it a good time?
No, not at all.
Oh,
I didn't use protection, and now I have a malware.
oh man.
Yep, I'm fucked.
Watch the viruses. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to like. I don't
That's
know.
what you get for watching gay porn, Jim.
Is that what you get? Because I thought it was so much more, but apparently that's very little. Anyway, waiting for Ryan to come on here. Jason is not going to be with us tonight. He's actually going on a date with his wife. What a foreign concept. I haven't had that in, let's see, my daughter's 7, so I haven't had a date night with my wife in about 7 years. So let's talk about some Blood Bowl.
Wait, James, like, once you have the kid, is dating even necessary anymore? Does this, you know?
No, pretty much not, no.
Wow,
You've
it's
already,
that easy, right?
Yeah, you've already gotten the prize. It's time to retire.
Okay.
Time to be done.
And suffer.
So
Red Patch Jim.
Yeah, red patch. Earn the red patch.
Good job, Jim.
Yeah, well, you know, it was. I'm glad Josh didn't play Stunty, so let's just get that out of the way. I had to play against my nemesis Ken Parks, who always seems to be trying to steal Stunty win from me. Actually, the only Stunty that I was involved in with Josh was Ryan's tournament over in Tampa. I played Halflings, Josh, you played Goblins, and Ken played Halflings. And in the end, what gave me the Stunty that day was beating Ken in round 3. And this one, I didn't get to play Ken head-to-head, but in round 2, because I lost to Jason Carter of Voorhees Carnivian in round 1, fucking Dark Elves. I lost to Dark Elves round 1 and round 3. But because I lost to him in round 1, I ended up playing against Tristan Atkinson, which is the tournament champ. Yeah, the tournament champion, Ken Atkinson. It's his son. He brought Lizardmen. And everything went my way. And I fouled with the chainsaw, and I blitzed with the chainsaw, and I made sashimi Lizardmen with the chainsaw. And then I flushed them down the toilet. And so I took a win there. Yeah, so it got me my patch, and it got me the Stunny Cup. So I was very, very happy with Saturday in the way that it went. Aside from my own happiness in playing, I thought Saturday's tournament up in Jacksonville, the Inconceivable based off the Princess Bride, was so much fun. The rule set was so much fun. We had 24 coaches. The tables were maxed. We probably could have fit 2 more coaches, but we were maxed.
Yeah.
And it was good. Everybody had a good time. It was a lot of fun. So Josh, you won too in that tournament. You did really well, actually.
I did. I brought the Baltimore Ravens. It's been since Coliseum Bowl 2 that I took them off the tournament shelf here. So I think they were really angry about not being played in a while. I couldn't not roll an injury for many games, which is unlike me. But it wasn't the amount of injuries that got me most casualties. It was the differential. It was I had 11 and I had 1 against, so I was plus 10. Yeah, they couldn't stop killing things, which is pretty cool. Considering when I went against John Hunter in the first round. That was a fun game, but that sweltering heat really got to him. I think he had like 6 or 7 players put in the pitch in second round to my full roster, and we pretty much went to town, just kind of destroyed things. Even his poor troll, God, we kicked that thing like 5 times in a row.
Yep. The sweltering heat got me too. I had 6 players out when I played against Jason in round 1. It was brutal. Yeah, sweltering heat's pretty brutal. I will say, like, when something like that can be that game changing, and you look at the tournament, you really need to plan ahead and make a list for it. When you see that sweltering heat is a really good possibility and it might limit like a third of your team, then you really need to put extras in the reserve box. Like you just maybe take away an extra skill and put like a lineman in there or something. Like an extra body is better than nothing.
Well, I'd like to go on the record and tell Josh that he's a coward for playing orcs. He should have played Stunty.
I play Stunty all the time.
He does play Stunty all the time. And he will be playing Stunty at Stunty Slam, and so will I.
Yeah, so I play there. And I may take Stunty to Tennessee this Saturday, I think. I'm going to the Bear Bowl, or whatever it's called. It's got bears in it. It's called something. It has a bear.
Smoke Mountain Bowl.
Yeah.
All right, I am going to try another set of headphones here and hope this works. I hope that evil noise doesn't come back. Could you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Now my phone can charge and I can hear. That's awesome.
There you go. Best of both worlds.
Oh.
I had a ton of fun though at that at Inconceivable. That was super fun. We had the second round. I went against Jason York, and for some reason we've been getting paired against each other a lot for tournaments, and it's all random, But we usually find some way to tie, but this time I kind of broke it, so I ended up winning. It was a lot of luck again. Like in the first 3 turns, my dice could not roll anything but an injury. I took out like 3 of his Bretonians in like about turn 3. And that kind of set the stage for just being a few players ahead. So kind of what got him.
Well, that's a good segue into something that I brought up on the drive up there. And I really didn't talk to Joe Coton, from Jacksonville, who ran the event about it. I just let it be. But you had just said that you ended up playing against somebody, and I ended up playing against Jason Carter in round 1, and I played against Nick Phillips in round 3. So by the time you get to round 3, you really don't have much choice because it's going to be as the points determined. But in round 1, on the way up there, we started talking about in score, which is what you use to manage the Blood Bowl tournaments. There is a feature in score that allows you to group people by location. And I said, should we start using this? I used it once or twice when I was in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. So basically you have if you have a crew from Melbourne and you have a crew from Jacksonville and you have a crew from outside of those 2 areas. And if you group them into those geographical groups, then you could make it so that it's less likely that they're going to play somebody from your own group in round 1. So there are some who look at that as well, yeah, you're not playing against somebody who you play with in your own league or in your home area that you play a lot. But is that fair? Because, you know what I mean? Then you're playing against people outside of your group, and maybe one of those people would want someone from their own group to take each other out. I don't know. There's a couple ways of looking at it. So I was just curious as to get everybody's opinion on that.
We play daily the very first round. That's lame.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. Repeat that first part. It was a little broken up.
I said yes. Make sure so you do not play the people you don't do on a daily basis first round. That's just horrible. You travel so far and you have to play the same guys. That's dumb.
So when you run events, or Brian too, or anybody, do you know for certain that they do that? They group people by location so that they don't play each other around, or it's less likely?
I think we don't set it up in groups like that, but we do ask them, hey, are you in the same group? Then during the first round matchup, and then we just swap it out and say, okay, because you know how in score you can change the initial lineup, in the very first round.
Yes.
It just sucks playing someone you play 100 times during the year, and then, round 1, I got to play Ned? Thanks a lot. Great.
Or like your meme, it's like, hey, I made it on time for Blood Bowl. round one, playing Neboja. Your memes this week were pretty salty and savage. I like them. They're very, very stunty oriented, and I approve.
But, you know, I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah, I took a lot of shit getting the tournament approved by the NAF because I kept throwing things in there like stunty for life or stay stunty, my friends, or don't be the douchebag who brings a non-stunty team to a stunty event. I took some flack for that, and I had to amend some of my words here or there. But the ironically, well, not ironically, because he is the Papa Fling or the Godfather of Fling, our buddy Pug, Dave Mason. He, as one of the prizes for somebody at Stunty Cup, I asked Pug to draw a. Is anyone familiar with his comic at all? The 100 Feet Heroes?
No.
Yes.
Okay, Josh, if you're not, you got to become a fan, or anybody who's not. So Dave has been drawing these since, oh my God, for forever. And it's halflings on the Blood Bowl team, and they get into some comedic situations, which is awesome. So I asked him to draw me like a strip for them promoting my event, and the focus of the strip was to not be a douchebag and play a non-stunty team at a stunty event, which is hilarious. So he actually drew an original strip. We're going to blow it up to poster size, and he's going to sign it, and we're going to have it framed, and it's going to be one of the prizes for somebody at the event.
I mean, who would ever do such a thing like that?
I better get a copy, Jim. I just want a copy of that.
Yeah, I'll make sure. I mean, I can make copies, but there's only going to be one original with him signing it.
James, I have a question.
Yes.
You said this guy drew you, right?
Drew me?
Yes.
He draws the 100 Feet Heroes. I don't think he's ever drawn me, but Gary has on the Stunty Legends patch. That
was there like a necklace involved and a couch and maybe?
Oh yeah, yes, the timeless art of seduction.
You can blame me for Jim being on that patch.
Was that a Seinfeld reference there?
That was a time. What?
The timeless art of seduction. You ever see that picture?
Me, no.
Oh my God!
I'm a little too old for that.
A little too old, dude. I'm only 41.
Seinfeld came along when I was like a little kid. And
really?
I caught like the last 2 or 3 seasons. I loved Kramer and I loved Newman.
All right, I'm gonna post it on the Facebook page because if you've never seen this, you got to see this.
Wait a minute. Is that the one? What's the bald guy with the glasses?
George.
Is that the one where he's like almost semi-nude?
Yep, and he's on the couch with his black socks on. It's very sexy.
Yes,
that's why they call it the timeless art of seduction. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen that episode, but I have seen photos of that episode.
They actually sell prints, and I'm actually doing a Google search, and I'm kind of ashamed of what I'm finding here because there are imitators.
The fact that that is kind of haunting.
Well, I did watch my fair share of Seinfeld. I remember quite vividly going to a fair the night that the last episode of Seinfeld on, and it was like monumental, the last episode of Seinfeld, and chalk it up to one of those endings where nobody liked. Nobody liked the last episode of Seinfeld. However, I will burn this AMA down and go on record and say that I actually liked the last episode of Dexter. So if you didn't, y'all can go fuck yourselves. I actually enjoyed it. I liked it. And I think they left the door wide open to bring it back. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents. I liked it. So,
dude, I stopped watching Dexter after his sister saw him do it because he got stupid after that.
I haven't watched it since. I don't think I made it through season 3.
Wait. When it comes to Dexter, the best was when I forget the guy's name from Third Rock from the Sun, but when it was the Trinity Killer.
Oh God, John Lithgow, yeah.
Yes, that was the best that ever was.
I would agree. That was the Trinity Killer was just awesome, and yeah, I don't think anything could be as good after that. But I'm still a fan, and I hope they bring it back.
That's exactly when the show went downhill after that episode where he comes home, he finds his wife dead and the kid crying in her blood. Yep.
Which season was the one that had Miguel Prada and it was like that whole
where he started training him to kind of be like him? It was after that. It was
oh God. Yep.
I want to say it was the following season actually.
I like the guy that played Miguel Prada, that actor. He was on
Jimmy Schmitz. Yeah, he's in.
I like him.
He turns up in everything. He's great.
He's just got that very acceptable Spanish look these days, I guess.
So
I don't mean anything by that, by the way, people. I'm just saying. It's just
just saying. Yeah, that's okay. Perfectly acceptable to say that.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes.
This coffee mug I'm drinking from is what I got from D20. That's when I play second with ogres.
That's a great mug too, because he kicks ass with ogres.
What?
How? How do you do that?
Ogres are amazing. They're ogre at the top.
You unleashed a can of puns. Way to go.
I did. It's all ogre now.
It's not ogre yet.
So I'll take this as an opportunity to kind of jump in and say hi, that I'm actually here. Sorry, I had a issue with a 4-year-old that did not want to go to bed.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
He was ogre tired.
Yeah, it was actually more of a potty issue, but we'll go with that.
Oh, I can't think of a good pun for shitting. I mean, I'm sure I could, but
maybe that his vowels were aggressive.
Oh, there you go. Ogre.
Anyone that's under the age of maybe like 8, it's potty. It's not shitting.
Oh, that's true.
After 8, then they shit.
Unless your kids are British.
Yeah, that's true. After 9 o'clock, my vocabulary changes. I made the fatal mistake of having KFC for dinner, and I'm regretting it now. I'm like close to, I don't know what the word is, vomiting out my ass or vomiting out my mouth, one or the other.
Mudslides.
Yes, mudslides. Not the good kind either.
Nope.
If there is such a thing.
I mean, it depends. If you want to go into full fecal matter discussion, I'm all for it.
So Ryan missed you at Inconceivable and wished you were there because not only was it a great tournament, but we did another family dinner afterwards, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to having an event in Tampa where we can all go out and hang out.
Plenty of places around here that I know that are good for that kind of smorgasbord. Yeah, I live in like the heart of like a restaurant renaissance here in Tampa. That's like all sorts of crazy good restaurants, like within spitting distance of my house.
It's pretty cool.
Is that because the meth is so excellent you can't tell how the food tastes, or is it just actually like really good?
No, they actually serve meth as an appetizer.
That is
yes.
awesome.
Yes.
It's their method.
I live in the gentrified neighborhood of Tampa, basically, like the area of town where all the hipsters are coming in and all their restaurants and like, you know, weird establishments that have like charcuteries and things of that nature. So that's where
What you're saying is you're close to Heisenberg.
Yeah, I'm talking. So it's good. I like it. So I can live amongst the hipsters. It's fun.
Well, I look forward to it. Sounds fun.
Yes. So I need to.
Inconceivable in general. Who took that one? I did not see the results.
Ken Atkinson.
Yeah, Ken Atkinson.
He drove 5.5 hours from Pensacola to whoop everybody's ass. It was, I'm sure, a good drive home for him.
I was personally shocked that John didn't rank higher.
They played each other in round 3, and it was an epic match. I think there was a lot of tense moments. There was a lot of anal sweat. There was a lot of not much profanity. There were kids there. There were 3 kids there, so the profanity was kind of at a minimum, except for people with Tourette's like Nick Phillips, who can't help himself ever.
Yeah, that's true. No, he really can't.
Yeah, he can't. Yeah.
Poor guy.
But he's got a problem, and he knows it. So he tries to avoid kids, but there were kids there, and he would say something like, "Can't you say like frack or frell and be like one of the cool kids and say something like out of Battlestar Galactica or Farscape?" And he's like, "No, just fuck." So I tried, but there's no stopping him. He's
no holding him back.
Nothing.
Oh, did we lose you, James?
Hello?
His
I think we lost
just
you.
muted.
I think your microphone just.
Mm-hmm.
James, to the mic. Thing. All right, so I'm assuming Josh, did you take Stunty Cup or did you even take Stunty? I thought you were saying you weren't going to take Stunty at the Inconceivable.
I did not take Stunty. I took my works.
Okay.
Yeah. I placed second. I went 3-0.
Okay.
And I was 2 points behind Ken total.
Oh yeah, you can't complain about going 3-0 and talking. It's just that was what the difference of a touchdown or something like that.
Yeah, and it's one of the interesting things I think about the tournaments is how when it really is geared to faster teams that throw only for those point standings.
Well, I'm talking you're limited. I'm talking you can get maybe. I'm talking if you have like a killer game, I guess maybe on average you get 3 or 4 touchdowns, but you can get a lot of casualties. I'm talking you can rack up 10 casualties in a game.
If you look at my numbers, I have 11 casualties. Okay, so that's 1 point each. That's 11 points. I think he had 9 touchdowns. That's 18.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Okay, over the course of 2 games or something like that. So I mean. That's the difference. The difference is I really feel like a touchdown is worth as much as a casualty. It's just as hard to get them. But that's just my own opinion. It was a great bowl, and there's no reason. He definitely deserved that win. I am not saying anything like that.
What did he bring? What else?
He brought Skaven.
Oh, Skaven. Okay.
Fast skiddery guys run in and score.
Yeah.
So a lot of tier 1 teams there.
Yeah, Works are tier 1, Rats are tier 1. I think it's 3rd place. I think there were two Bretonian teams, I think there were 2 Bretonian teams. Let's see. I know I played against Chaos.
Which one?
John Hunter's Chaos.
Not like Chaos Renegades, Chaos Chosen.
Oh, regular Chaos. Yeah.
Okay.
Your vanilla Chaos.
Old-fashioned Chaos out of the can.
Has anyone here tried playing a corn team?
A lot of people in Florida have played corn teams.
Yep.
They're wacky,
really?
To say the least. It's basically the Bloodthirster and his gang of wacky pals.
Yeah. They only have access to strength, right? The regular guys?
Yeah. Well, a good chunk of them do.
I know that the blood letters are like vampires in that they're general agility and strength on a single, and then for some reason the pit fighters, which are like their linemen, they have access to general and passing, which makes no sense. But okay.
So someone's got to get passing in there,
But it's corn. Why do you pass a ball when you pass someone's head down the field, but why you don't pass a ball?
If the dwarfs have passing, the corn should have passing.
Where does that? How do you get there?
When I played in the old leagues, I'm talking we didn't know any better because we were young and dumb. Like I saw that my runner had pass, so I would just take passing skills because I was like, all right, I'll air it out. It did not work out well, but occasionally it worked out, and that's the funniest thing to see people's face when you air it out to a blitzer downfield and he takes it in. You're like, yeah, you feel really accomplished.
Yeah, that's funny. You can play really good games, but you remember the really crazy plays that went off. Like those are the plays that I remember when I play games, and so
I believe
80% of the game I'll want to play this really solid, amazing game, and then I'll see something wacky that I'll just want to try because if I do it, it'll be great, And doesn't always net me the biggest result, but it's a lot of fun when it works, and I definitely remember those. And you don't.
And I think there's some
many ball carriers with snotlings unless you do it a lot. So I've done it a lot.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
If your ogres were going up against Skaven, what would be your strategy?
So it kind of depends on the setting. Are you looking at a tournament build, or are you looking at a league?
Well, see, I'm in a league right now. We're in the playoffs, and I somehow actually managed to win a game. And I'm either going to be playing Orcs or Skaven. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Skaven because the guy that plays Skaven is a power gamer who
is freaking
good at his game. So Like,
yeah, to be honest, like, power gamer really isn't a bad word. I mean, we're all trying to min-max our list to win. So
of course. But like, I've played him 2 times before, and both of those times, one of the times, just Nuffle. I don't know if it's a family-friendly thing, but Nuffle butt raped me. Nuffle just bent me over and took the Great American Challenge and went. So yeah. I've never stopped the gutter runners. Like the last game, I had like 5 ogres, and they were all fucking stupid.
Okay. What's your build so far with the ogres? Like, what do you have to work with?
Oh, only one time have I rolled a double on an ogre. Almost all of them have guard. 3 have break tackle. One of them's a break tackle block. Another one's a guard strong arm. Yeah, every ogre has guard, and then I have 1 runt that has sure feet. As like a 1-turn threat if he sticks a landing when I throw him. And there's a fun story about that, but that's for another time.
I gotcha.
But, yeah. So
well, my first recommendation, especially for League, is that once your ogres, if you have, how many rerolls do you have? I mean, you have like 6 ogres. 3. Oh, that's really good. Okay, so this team's been around for a while, huh? Okay. I would first on how much you have in treasury?
Hang on.
Okay. Like, could you buy another ogre if you wanted to? You can't hear me.
Okay, right now treasury is very low at 30K because I just bought back one of the ogres that got killed at the beginning of the league.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fun stuff is that the.
How much in inducements is he giving you?
Yeah.
I think we're going to be about even. I might get 200K, but last time I played him, he was at like 1690, and I'm at 1580. And that was maybe 2 games ago.
1580, 1690. So first thing I would recommend is, what are your rules for wizards? Do you have the classic wizard or the terrible one? Or the newer good one?
I honestly don't know. I'm pretty sure we can induce a wizard.
Okay.
I'm 99% sure we can, and I've seen guys like the Sage do that in Blood Bowl too, and that's pretty dang effective.
Yeah.
So there's an idea.
So yeah, I would keep your treasury, don't spend anything else, and hope that he kind of goes up like a little bit in skills. I hope you get to like, if you need to buy to 150, then go ahead and do it, and then get your wizard. And so if you win the kickoff against him, elect to kick. Let him score, but position most of your ogres in like the last 33% of your field. So like within like 4 or 5 squares of the touchdown zone. What this means is that when he goes to score and he scores really quick, his options are to score very quickly, or to hold off until you get the ball in second half, and you can hope that it goes to ogre time, which it usually does, right? But when you have most of your guys close to that back part of the field, and just about all of them have access to your touchdown zone, you take away his option to sit in the back and grind and be away from your guys. And when you take that away from a speed team, that takes away a very viable weapon that they need. At that point, when he goes and he has the ball, he can stay far away from him all he wants, or he can just sit in the back and wait for you. But don't chase him. Let him come to you and make a touchdown if you win the kick. And then put your guys next to his rats. Have him make a choice whether he's going to score and save all of his rats, or try to dodge everybody and possibly fail. So that's one of the biggest things I would go for. Another thing is, do not depend on Snotlings to hold the ball or to cage, because they're titchy. So his gutter runner is going to dodge into whatever cage that's partially held together by a Snotling, and dodge on a 2-up, blitz your Snotling in the middle.
Right.
So your first chance you pick up the ball with a Snotling, and you hand it off to an ogre. And you use your reroll to make sure he gets it. Okay, you build your cage with the ogre on the inside of it. And then from there, you have several break tackle guys, a few guys with guard. So you just make a terrible cage that no Skaven really wants to try to go into and do anything about.
Yeah, I've got 5 ogres with guard. So Awesome.
Yeah.
So one thing playing, I did Skaven in my last league, and I took the league on that one. One thing I would do to counter that, even if you have an ogre, if he has a properly built like ball sacker, like he will have wrestle and strip ball, and if your guy doesn't have sure hands, he even with 2 dice uphill, he's got, I believe, a 90% chance of pulling the ball out of your hands.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's the thing. If he's got a properly built like ball grabber to get out of your hands, even with 2 dice uphill versus that ogre, he's got a ridiculously good chance of pulling the ball away from you.
Can we just say that phrase like 2 more times out loud?
The ball grabber.
The ball grabber.
The ball stripper.
Yeah, the ball
There you
stripper.
go. Right out
The
of
ball handler.
There you go.
I would. The only thing I bear in mind is that if you have an ogre holding the ball and he dodges it with a strength 2, it's 3 die uphill, especially with guards.
Yeah.
On the
Well,
side.
that's true. That's true. That
And
is
so
true. I forgot about that.
I would love for him to have that. Like, go ahead, please come right in. You know, because at some point he'll have to make that decision, and when he goes in and he fails, and you're living the dream at that point. But yeah, I would definitely give the ball to one of your ogres that has break tackle, so he's got some mobility, and keep one guy with break tackle if you can in the upper right-hand corner and one in the upper left-hand corner. That way your mobility is either forward or backwards should you need to go forward or backwards, depending on what happens to your stupidity.
Yeah. And your best bet versus them is to make it take as long as possible. If you can take it, if your league does overtime and you can take it into overtime, do it. Like that's the longer the Skaven are on the pitch, the worse it is for Skaven. Versus any team for the most part. The longer they're on the pitch, the worst possibility you have.
In my experience, the ogres have the same problem because the runts just you tap them with your pinky finger and they're dead.
Hey guys, he's back. Let's stop talking about him.
No, it's okay. I was reading all your lips, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a good skill.
Yeah, I'm talking about your butt lips.
Oh, I don't know.
That's a curse, man. That's a curse more than a skill, just so you know. There's certain things man wasn't meant to know or understand.
Yes, women.
Oh, I was thinking of H.P. Lovecraft and Call of Cthulhu, but yeah, you're right. So where do we leave off?
We're trying to solve his ogre dilemma.
No, I didn't know we had an ogre dilemma.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Oh, okay.
Like, how did the ogres take on the Skaven? I love ogres for Skaven, I really do. Like, please go ahead and score early. That way I'll make a nice ogre cage, and then I get to hit armor 7, and it'll be fun. Oh, another thing is on your ogres, with when it comes to your stupidity and you start activating them. Like, let's say you have like one ogre on the side of your cage and you start to move and he fails his stupidity. Okay, use your reroll to make sure he's activated, and at that point, as long as you have a built cage, you don't have any more rerolls left. You do nothing else. You just sit there. Because when you play ogres or any kind of stunty, the margin for error is, in my opinion, much more slim than any other team. You know, take an elf. Like, every agility 4 elf can handle the ball, pass the ball, catch the ball if they want to, dodge in, do some crazy moves. But, you know, not everybody on an ogre team can make a cage. Not everybody, you know. So, like, your margin for error is so slim that once you do fail something like that, once your turn doesn't go exactly as you need it 100%, and you can mitigate that, you stop your turn and you stay there. Just stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, if you work down the tiers, that's your margin of error on a team. And I do the same thing with my Tomb Kings. That's what I'm playing this season. If something goes wrong or they start crowding, I'll just wait a turn or two and not move the cage at all, just to break some faces, because it's not worth it. There's no margin for them to screw up.
Yeah, just be patient. Patience is virtue, especially with some,
Here's the funny thing. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm kind of like brand new to Blood Bowl, and I got into it because my brother-in-law got the video game. And I, of course, played an ogre team on that video game that was fully skilled up and thought, these guys are awesome. So I went out and I bought an ogre team to go play in the tabletop game in a new league, and I'm brand new to all of this stuff.
And why do these guys suck so bad?
Exactly. And it's just been like everyone in my league told me that I should switch teams, and they like at one point I almost did. But
No, you don't listen to that. You keep going. You keep going forward until you win with Stunty, and you rub it on your face and say, you know what, switch this.
Well, I've been considering making the team part of the giveaway for the Stunty Slam coming up.
Yeah, I mean, if something way, it's up to you, but
Stick it out.
I would not give away a team just because you're having trouble with it. That's a challenge. You keep going with that thing until you do well.
It's more of like catharsism in that it's like, finally, you fuckers go somewhere else.
I was talking to Mike Tremarsh. Hey, Josh, I actually finally made it to Dogs of War.
Oh, hey.
I went down there one night to pick up a Lizard Man for my skink team.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the first time I met Jesus, and it was the first time I'd gone to the store. And Mike and I were talking, and he was telling me about how when they started their league down there, they don't force you, but they highly advise new players to either play orcs or humans because they have a high turnover rate for coaches who come in wanting to play something that requires a little bit more skill or experience in playing. And then when they choose something like, let's say, I think a guy came in and was like, he played vampires and he got his ass handed to him. And I think he just rage quit. And so they kind of recommend playing humans or orcs. But I can't. Go ahead.
James, do you know a guy named Jason, last name Siegel?
That name sounds familiar. I mean, I meet so many people doing what I do, but the name sounds very familiar.
Because I'll talk to you in private later about it. Never mind.
Okay. So all I could say is this to you, like Josh said, stick it out, because if you're able to run an ogre team and develop cages and score and move the ball and play good defense, then by the time you turn around and decide to play a Norse team or an elf team or a human team, you're going to be quite devastating. I don't know. I've played ogres a few times now, and I think they're a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to playing them again. Like, I'm going to have my 24 at Stunty Slam, and then yeah, I've worked really hard this past year at getting the rest of my teams in. So once that's over, then I plan on playing teams that I want to play. Halflings are on that list. Ogres are on that list. Chaos is on that list. I have some nice-looking teams that I just want to put back on the pitch. I have a gloriously painted succubus team that was done by Axia, who now paints for Forge World. And I can run them as Amazons. I can run them as Corn, which I am gonna run them as Corn once I get Succubus Studios put out a new model for it, which is like a coach. I'll post that on the AMA link, but it is a beautiful looking model that, to me, for that team would make an excellent bloodthirster. So I don't know if you saw any of the posts, but the Midwest miniature guy, Tom Nelson, terrific painter, a very nice guy, offered to paint a miniature as a prize for Stunty Slam. I sent them out his way to have them to finish up my team. So when they come back, then I'll be playing Bretonnians and I'll be playing Corn to get my +2 patches. But
what's the last team you got to run for your 24?
Lizardmen, and I decided to run them as Lizardmen Skinks for the Stunty Slam.
Cool.
Yeah, I have 2 left. I'm playing Chaos, which I've already played at a tournament before in New York, but. So it was a big stink because at the time there were no official rules for the 24, meaning that you can go to an NAF tournament and let's say, for instance, because this is what actually happened, I played Chaos. Well, out of 4 rounds, only one of my rounds actually counted as NAF because the other 3 were not NAF coaches. So that's why, yep. So for the longest time over the course of this past year, it was still okay. And then they went and changed it and turned around and said, okay, well, you got to play 3 matches now. And I'm like, well, that's bullshit. Like, you can't, I had a hard time with that because I'm like, you can't go back and rewrite the rule. Like, if you want to do that now, moving forward, and say, okay, from this month moving forward, any matches have to be 3. But if you had already played these matches under the assumption that as long as you played them, they counted, which is what a lot of coaches did. So I was very vocal in the Blood Bowl community about this. I called bullshit on it, and I think it was the first time that I actually faced backlash on something that didn't go my way. So the whole community basically called me a whiny bitch and said, you know what, motherfucker, play more Blood Bowl. So I'm like, okay. So I did. So I started running tournaments left and right and upside down. I mean, because I want to run tournaments, but also so that and granted, you know, you can run as many tournaments as you want, but unless you have a ringer, where sometimes I would with Nick, there was no guarantee that I'd be playing in any of the tournaments that I was running. Therefore, there's no guarantee that I could have scratched another team off my list. So I wanted to run the tournaments to run them. And if I happened to play, it worked out in my favor that I would get another team off.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, I'm down to my last 2. So Chaos, I'm playing at Graveyard Cup on Friday the 13th, and that's going to be at Sci-Fi City. And I didn't realize this, but they haven't had Blood Bowl there in a while. But as you can all tell, I'm obviously heavily promoting the Three Kingdoms Challenge. That was originally held at Sci-Fi City back in 2004, 2005, and 2006. So it's kind of ironic that, you know, here we are playing Blood Bowl again there, and that's where, you know, when they had the big tournaments, that's where it was. So Chaos at Graveyard Cup, and then the next day is Lizards at Sunny Slam, and I asked Nate Beam to give my patch to either Ken Washington, who's coming down to play, or Ramsey, who's coming down to judge the painting contest. So I'm hoping... Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So there's like NAF officials coming to Sunny Slam.
No. Nate's the NAF president, and Ken just goes to a lot of Beast games. Like, and he's in the Virginia area, so he sees Nate. So I just asked him. I mean, Nate could mail it to me for all I know. I have no idea. I just know that somebody is either bringing the patch with them to give to me, or he's going to mail it to me. Either way, I've let Nate know an obscene amount of times that, hey, Nate, I'm going to have my 24th this event. Somebody going to have a patch for me? Somebody going to have a patch for me? Somebody going to have a patch for me? Yeah, probably to the point of obnoxiousness, and probably to the point of where, and joking, I'm obviously joking because he actually has his league night tonight, but I did ask him, I'm like, hey, do you want to be on the AMA? He's like, oh, I got my league night tonight, but, you know, maybe in the future. So, like, me being me is like, Jim is, like, aggravating the piss out of me. He probably wants to get it on public record that I'm going to send the patch, so, yeah, I'm going to pass. I'll pass.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I'm super excited for a lot of reasons. It was as much fun as and for me, I play the tournaments and everything, and I go to so many tournaments. I like to have fun. I can't say that I've ever had a bad time at a tournament ever. But I really am looking forward to finishing this up so that I can start playing teams that I want to play based off of the event.
Right.
It's not easy to put together a roster for like, oh, I played these guys one time. I'm going to put together a roster and hope I don't get my ass kicked in too hard. But you know, I don't know. It's a good experience, and I've learned to like certain teams though from being in that environment, because you don't quite get the same play when it's a league play or a friendly match, because you got the higher team value. You could skill them up, and you kind of get a better sense of what they're capable of when they're at that certain level. So, yeah, I like Ogres. I had a lot of fun, and I did back Impact Miniatures. I was hoping to have Tom Anders on the AMA tonight, but he is on a family vacation.
Would you like some new Ogres?
Yes, I would.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Well, he's got a Kickstarter going on live right now, and he got the rights to do the Heresy Miniatures Ogres. They're the classic metal ogres, and they're gorgeous. So for like $50, I jumped in on that, and then he's got even a better deal, and it just got funded too. So like if you were to go on the higher end of that deal, you would get all the teams that he was advertising on that Kickstarter for a really ridiculously obscene low amount. I couldn't believe how cheap that Kickstarter was. But for me, I have enough stuff at the moment the way it is. I really wanted those ogres though, but I have a nice Bones Ogre team that similar to Josh's, not as well painted, obviously, but that I've been putting together. I mean, the Heresy miniatures are very cool, but the Reaper Bones has such variety. Like those Heresy Ogres, they're very much the same. Like there's a slight variance between them, but if you wanted to go with a Bones Ogre team, you could literally throw so many different variances together, and they could be so unique and so original. I don't know. That's one of the things I like about the Bones figures as Blood Bowl miniatures. The other thing that I think, Josh, you were talking about doing, and I know Daniel, or God, why can't I think of his last name? Who's the dude who played vampires in our league that's been gone for a little while? Not Dan Racky.
Yeah, that's other Dan.
Yeah, I can't think of his last name at the moment. Anyway, he did a Reaper. Yeah, Reaper. It is Reaper. He did a Reaper Bones vampire team where he used the townsfolk as the thralls, and he never painted them. Painting's not his thing, but the concept was cool. And I think, Josh, you said you were going to kind of do something very similar, and I know when yours are done, they're going to look amazing because of how good you paint.
I was thinking about it, but, you know, I love doing original ideas. I hate taking somebody else's. Man, it's so cool to have that. I can't think of another. You know, what's helping me is that I'm painting these vampires for Sunny Slam for prizes. So I'm actually painting them right now.
Oh, is that what you're working on?
Yeah. Yeah, John gave me some vampires. He's like, we're giving away this team, but these guys aren't painted, so do you mind painting these? I said, sure. So I got these, and then I got to make the pies.
I got to give you my Skaven team.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually thinking about making my my commission painting like an official thing. I've been doing it.
You need to.
Yeah, I've been doing it kind of for friends and stuff here and there, and there's a decent market for it. I can do something that I really enjoy. You know,
there is, because everybody who does commission painting has a long list and or are not accepting new commissions. So I definitely think that there's a market for you to go out there and, you know, pimp yourself out or have me pimp you out for you. Then I would actually make you the prostitute, not the pimp, if I was pimping you.
I would totally vote for James pimping out Josh just because that
yeah, it's what I do.
It's a better mental image, personally.
Yeah. What is that right now? Oh God, this little thingy came up.
Was that a Transylvania?
Oh yeah. I got it. That's one of the miniatures that was.
I caught a glimpse of it. I knew exactly what it was when it flashed over the camera.
You getting there?
Oh, look at him, the Nosferatu. That's awesome. Look at those eyes.
Yeah, I'm gonna get his eyes to come out a little bit more. I'm gonna kind of lighten them up a little bit, and then highlight the black. I should be good to go. And you know, the irony behind this is that big old head. He's a head coach, right?
That's
I'm
awesome.
sure he gives great head jobs.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's using your noggin.
I'm sure it was easy for him to go to the head of the class. But Josh did. I got a very expensive model from Grebo. It was I want to say it was from a tournament. The name of the miniature is Bianca, and it's a tree man, but it's a woman. And I knew when I was buying it that I wanted to have Josh paint it. And when you showed me some other pictures from some of the other stuff he did for me, the pictures never do the actual model when you're looking at it justice. And I love the picture that you sent me of the tree woman, so I can't wait to see it up close in person.
I don't know if this comes out better or not. I have no idea.
It's hard to hold still.
Yeah.
Right now it looks like a giant poopsicle.
It does.
But yeah, I know it's going to be awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I really like the model. I think it's pretty cool.
It is a very, very cool model.
And I like that most of the time you see a tree man model and all the bark goes straight down. This one, all the bark's intersecting on different sides, and it looks different on the arm as opposed to other ones like actual trees are. So it's really neat. It's the last detail. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, the Pro Elf or the Elven Union team that I had Alexis paint that I pretty much will use as Wood Elves or Pro Elves or High Elves, whatever. But when I run them as Wood Elves, and I want to use a tree man, that's the tree man for that team. Yeah, I sent my orc team for Oktoberfest to the Lone Paintbrush out in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So he's working on that. I'm going to have you do my Skaven. Midwest Miniature guys finishing up the rest of those Dark Elves or Succubus so I can use for my Khorne team. I'm trying to think of what else. I don't know. I wish I had more time to paint. I just don't. I mean, I can't help myself. Like when I go to a tournament, I want to drop money in a store, and if I can't find anything to buy, I buy paints. So I have such a huge paint collection, and they're all unopened because it's the cheapest and easiest thing for me to buy. I even got the GW Paint app for my phone, so that when I go, I can go. Oh, I got that one. I got that one 3 times. Oh, I got that one. So then I just start checking things off my list because there will be a day. Like, when I'm homeless or, mentally ill and can't work and, all I can do is paint miniatures, then that's what I'll do. But I don't know when that day's going to happen because I just bought a house and now I'm going to owe my soul to the company store for forever.
Sure.
So.
Fun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I owned the house in Pennsylvania for, the 11 years, sold it and moved down here. And I've been leasing for the last 2 since I moved here. And the whole time, that whole 2 years I was leasing, I was like, why am I leasing again? I swear I would never rent again. I swear I would never rent again. But it was impossible to sell the house in Pennsylvania and move down here and buy a house at the same time.
Mm.
So we weren't sure where we were going to end up living. But so either way, now we know. Now we're there. And
see, James, I think you did what every genius real estate person does when it comes to buying up real estate in Florida. You'll wait till after a hurricane comes to buy a house.
Yeah, that's when people want to get the hell out.
Yeah. That's when people are like, well, I had a house here, but now there's nothing. Who wants to buy this property for nothing?
Or I survived my first hurricane. I want to go back to wherever the hell I was from before here.
Did any of you guys stay down here for Irma?
Yeah.
Which one was Irma?
The last one.
Last year.
Oh, yeah, we stayed.
Yeah,
we lost power for like 12 hours. That was it.
I lost power for 15 minutes.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
It barreled down over Tampa, so we left.
Yes.
And we left and ended up going, we went as far as North Carolina, but we talked to our neighbor, and our neighbor said that he didn't even lose power.
I remember that when that happened.
Yep. So I was like, well, that's great, but whatever. It is what it is. It was a good little mini vacation.
It was. You guys were like storm chasers, but in reverse.
Right. We're storm runners.
I remember
awesome job.
Is Ryan going to be okay? He's in Tampa. Oh, Ryan's leaving Tampa. Okay, he's going to North Carolina. Oh, okay. The storm really didn't hit Tampa, but North Carolina's kind of ravaged.
Oh, yeah. We were trying to come home through Jacksonville. I booked a room in Jacksonville on the way home. I was like, okay, I'll sneak through basically because it looked like it was going to hook and go like towards like Tennessee. And the place that like I booked was right on the water. And then the day we were going to come home, we got all the reports like all of Jacksonville is flooded. There is no way.
I'm hoping this fan is not going to be very loud when I turn it on.
See, I had the interesting experience of when Irma was bearing down on Florida, both of my parents were up in Pennsylvania visiting my brother, and it was me, my sister, and her husband down here, and we all lived in separate places. And once we found out there was a hurricane coming, it was our job to board up everyone's home. And the house we're in did not have anything. It had no shutters, nothing. So, in the matter of a week, we did this house, we did a little bit of the apartment, and I got back to my apartment, and I just put everything in the middle of a room, saran wrapped it, and said, fuck it, let's see what happens. Went to the house. But I gotta say, Tramadol and Red Bull together will make you a god.
That'll work. Yes. That was the first thing, like within a month of buying my house, my father came over. He's like, we're going to go buy wood, and we're cutting wood to the size of your windows, and we just store it in our shed. And that was something I was like, maybe we're just being a little. And then as soon as the hurricane came up, like, thank God we did this already. It's all labeled and everything. It was like, front left window, front middle window. I was like, oh man, this is so easy.
I shit you not. I was standing in Home Depot a week before the storm hit, staring at all this excess wood that they had before they were sure that the storm was going to hit. And I'm telling my family, like, me and my dad freak out about this stuff because, we're smart. But we're not the ones that get to say, spend the money. That's the women who say that. And once, 24 hours later, the storm alert went out that the hurricane's going to hit Florida. And, literally within seconds of that happening, everything in Publix, Home Depot, and Walmart is just sold out.
Oh, yeah.
So we ended up having to get aluminum shutters from Miami to do most of the house with. If you've never worked with aluminum, you have to use a special saw or a cutter to cut it, and it takes 10 times as fucking long than anything else. And I never stopped bitching at my mom and my sister. There was wood. I was in front of the wood. I wanted to buy the wood because the you fuckers were doing aluminum.
When I moved down here and we started leasing the house, I was in the garage and I didn't know that those were hurricane shutters. I almost threw them out. I'm like, what is all this fucking metal? I'm like, why did they leave it here, those assholes, whoever was here before us? And I was so tempted to put it out for recycling. Can you imagine coming down the street and seeing holy fuck, someone's putting out, because where I live, if you leave anything on the curb, it's just common knowledge, it's gone.
Yeah.
I've left luggage out there that was used and broken here or there, and I turned around, I went inside the house, came back out, I'm like, holy fuck, either ghosts have taken it or somebody's like, hey, I could use that. So then I get nervous, if I'm mowing the lawn and giving myself heat stroke, which is generally the case, and I leave the lawnmower outside, I'm like, I better put it alongside the house. I'll come out there and be tell my wife, yeah, I was going to finish doing the lawn, and some fucker came and took the lawnmower. So I've learned to leave shit. And I tell my kids, I'm like, don't leave your stuff on the sidewalk. Someone will drive by and take it. And they're like, nuh-uh. I'm like, watch. And I would show them, let's say I had something I was going to recycle. I'd put it out in the lawn, and I'd show my kids, 2 hours later, it'd be gone. And they're like, Dad, what'd you do with that? I'm like, no, somebody came and took it. I said, they will take your shit if it's not nailed down. They will take it. You would think you're living in Detroit or something.
Where do you live?
Vieira.
Vieira?
Yeah, it's a posh area, section of Melbourne, and that's not why I lived here. It's got a very good school district. Everything's fucking expensive. It's just so expensive. But I just want to give my kids some good options and a good life. So I sacrifice sanity, sleep, a kidney, semen, ovaries, whatever I got.
Mixed together, at least, right?
Yes, mixed together into a goulash that I sell by the pint on the street corner. I don't have a license for that. I do get harassed by the cops. It's not a good situation.
I did just finish eating pancakes. Now I wish I hadn't.
Is that what those were? I didn't know what those were. It looked like a sandwich. Then I hear Josh mixing his paints. That sounds like he's beating eggs. Or was I don't know. It's making me hungry, though, and I just had awful KFC. I shouldn't eat for days.
Yeah, you really shouldn't.
Well, KFC is one of those things where you have it once a year, and then right after you have it, you regret you had it, and then you deny you had it. But then once your body starts going through the...
There he is.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's a little guy. Yeah, I'll tell you, I use this gray because I get all kinds of paints, whether it's Army Build or GW. And but crappy Walmart gray, this thing.
Oh, I buy the Walmart paints. Yeah, those are awesome.
Really?
I have not found a better gray ever than and this has been with me since 1999.
Do you water it down though? Do you thin your paints, Josh?
No, I do not.
You don't thin your paints, Josh?
Nope.
Josh, you gotta thin the paints.
Nope.
Duncan is gonna find you and he's gonna thin you.
Duncan's coming for you with a vengeance.
Exactly.
You're gonna be visited tonight by 3 ghosts, and Duncan's gonna be one of them.
Yeah, and he will hand you a thin slice of your flesh, saying, "This thin."
Yep. Well, his results speak for themselves, though, so he might be able to yell at him about thinning the paints, but nothing's globbed up or looking quite mucky. Yeah. Everything looks really good. So, and that paint is thicker.
Yeah.
Is that the Granny Smith apple paint, is it called? Is that what that is?
Yeah, apple barrel acrylic paint stuff, yeah. And, you know, I've tried, like, other colors with this, and the only two colors I really like from the apple barrel is the gray, whether it's called pewter gray or they decided to call it rhino gray or, I don't know, like dull gray, I have no idea. But and then the other one is like the dark brown.
Jean
but
gray.
I only had the jean gray. But I only use the dark brown for like whenever I base and then I spray the model. And so I use the paint on the bottom to put like the sand or whatever on before I spray it. Oh. And I use that crappy brown to do that because it doesn't matter if it clumps up on the bottom, you kind of want it to. You know, because it's mixing with the sand and stuff. And it's like an extra sealant for it. So basically, so I don't have to glue every single rock to every single base.
And I use a lot of, if I'm going to use apple barrel, a lot of white and black. Because for the most part, those don't matter much.
Yeah, no, that's true. You're right about that too.
And if you want
to, black, white matters a lot to me. I've only found the Army Boulder white is what's worked best for me.
So you don't have to layer it as much.
I'm trying to light something. If I wanted to take a purple and get it a little lighter, just use the crappy whiter paint for that. Oh, yeah. But yeah, if I'm trying to do a white, like I'll use like a white scar or whatever. Or I have a Vallejo white that I use.
When you do colors like that, like whites and yellows, do you have to layer multiple times in order to get a clean?
Yeah, you start with the gray, and then you go to a gray white, like a very, very, like, and then you highlight it with white, for me at least.
Yeah, I layer yellow. I've layered, but what's really cool with the yellow is there's this old GW used to have an old line of paints called foundation paints. And they were meant to be like super thick paints, and when you smell them, they smell like makeup, which is essentially kind of what they are.
Maybe it was makeup for men.
And really, like, it's like I have this thing called like Cyanide in Dark Sun, and it's about to dry out, so I'm going to cry about it. But
eBay,
it goes. It's like one coat on like flat black, and it's yellow, you know. And it's a duller yellow, so you can build on top of it and do some other stuff with it. But I love the foundation paints. I just think you would use them right. You know, you put too much of it on, clumps up, stuff like that. And it's not meant to be watered down because it's foundation paint.
That makes sense. Oh, Liam's also got some of my miniatures painting because he's doing commission work now. And I had a hand in talking him into that, just like talking you into doing commission painting. Because we need more options for all of us who don't have time or talent. I'm in the time department. I can actually paint. I just don't have time. Oh, God, that feels good. Damn you, KFC. You must be exercised from my stomach.
Okay, James, I kid you not. One of the best things you can do for yourself right now is get yourself an Activia probiotic and some Pepto.
Really?
God, it will make your stool come out way more less painful. Okay.
That is not where I thought you were going with that. I thought you'd be like, it coats the inside of your stomach and makes you feel good.
No, it really does. And then
if there was a pill that like made my poop different shapes specifically, then I would take it. Otherwise, I'm just going to leave it alone.
We might have to.
I know what I want. I'm just going to wait till I find it.
They're called
change
MREs.
the name of this AMA.
They do that.
It's going to be, instead of the AMA, it's going to be called a PNP for poop and pee.
Potty talk.
It is good, yes. Yeah. I should just develop like a paint, like wraparound table for the toilet because that's where I spend the bulk of my time. So if I could just like hinge that like off the wall and just wrap it around and be like, sit down, no pants, paint a couple miniatures. Before we started this AMA tonight, I was actually thinking about talking in a funny voice all night. Because why not? But I kind of let it go.
So let me get this straight. You want us to know that while you're on the can, you're painting, so that next time we play you and see your models, we're going to look at them and see your poop.
Only the Nurgle team. That is no joke. If you ever see the Nurgle team on the table, just concede the match to me.
Yeah.
That is my plan. that paint job looks like real fecal matter. Nice job, dude. Like, oh yeah.
Even smells like it.
You don't even know. Oh yeah, it's a new GW paint. It's called Drop of Dookie. It's good stuff.
It's called 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven. It's got KFC. Yeah, it's called gas station sushi.
Oh, good Lord. Oh.
It's actually a funny joke because there's a gas station in Mobile down the road from me, and it has a Mexican restaurant inside. Which hold your joke because that's an easy one. But this little Mexican place, I guess the guy's family owns some big Mexican restaurant. Anyway, so I've been in this place about a dozen or more times and never realized there was a Mexican place inside of it. So I happened to just go 2 aisles over, and I'm like, holy shit, there's a Mexican restaurant inside the gas station. The food from
there's
one by
tacos. Us. There's an Indian restaurant in it.
It's
a
phenomenal.
Gas station, Indian restaurant, like right on it, and you have to go if you're in the restaurant and you want to go to the bathroom. You have to go over into the gas station, but it's universally in Tampa considered like one of the best Indian restaurants. And my wife and I eat Indian a lot, and it is one of the best ones we've ever been to.
This Mexican is good. I've had the tacos. I've had the quesadillas. And they have, what are the tortas? They have those, and that's on my hit list next. But, man, I've eaten a lot of Mexican places down here since moving to Florida, and I tell you what, this is give any of them a run for their money. It's really, and it's cheap. I think it's like $2 for a taco. So I get two tacos.
Why that is, right?
No, I don't want to know.
You don't want to know why that
Don't ruin the dream for me. Do not ruin the dream for me. I dream about those tacos. Wake up in the middle of the night and be like, I just had a taco dream again. Go there tomorrow for lunch. $4, and I eat like a Mexican king. Yeah. It could be a drug cartel lord. Either way.
Is this like about it? Is that like your pregame ritual? You get a really good dirty meal before you play a football game?
A dirty meal. I rolled up into the parking lot and I saw some salami on the ground and I ate it. That's my dirty meal. No, I don't have any pregame ritual, surprisingly, but you know who does? Florida Man.
Yeah, Chris, I remember. Yeah, I saw that post.
Florida Man, yeah, but I've seen it in real life. Like,
oh,
so yeah. Like when we're at Gyfo, he likes to go to the bar next door and have a pregame drink. But if he gets there early, he has pregame drinks.
Oh,
which is funny. And then even funnier is, so I did the post that all of you saw, and he ended up winning it. It was the best Blood Bowl mix, and everybody had such good mixes. There was a lot of crossover songs, but I kept coming back to Chris's and Liam's, and then Chris's. But I saw him at Jacksonville getting his game on, leaning against the wall, playing Survivor. I don't know if it was Burning Heart or Eye of the Tiger. And he, like, it was something to behold. And I'm just like, is this really happening? Like, he's there and he's getting in the zone. I'm just glad there wasn't some concrete blocks that he could have smashed apart with his hands, because I'm sure he would have done it.
I'm sorry. I really like these, like this, like Dirk Danzig model I got to paint.
Yeah, I like that. I got a couple more vamps, and I don't even need the extra vamps. I have vamps. I have more vamps. You're crazy if you put 4 vamps on the pitch in like 7s or Street Bowl, but I guess 4.
No. Cody will argue that he has 6 vamps that kicked my ass.
Yeah, did they all have pro?
Yeah, they did actually.
Oh, there you go.
Right. So when you're starting off, it's kind of insane to put 5 vamps on the pitch.
Has anyone considered using? I don't know if you guys know. Have you ever heard of Rumble Slam?
I have not.
Anyone?
It sounds cool.
Rumble Slam is basically Blood Bowl. Imagine Blood Bowl, but take it to professional wrestling. So a company made. So basically, they have like an orc wrestling team, and like they have a human wrestling team who has an ogre, and they have and a halfling, and they have they basically took Blood Bowl and crossed it over to professional wrestling. It comes with a ring and everything. It's a neat little game. I have totally thought about getting some of their miniatures and making a Blood Bowl team, just because I want like a Lucha Libre like Blood Bowl team. I think that would be cool.
Oh, I'm looking at them now. Wow, they're Gravedigger. This dude looks like Ronnie Savage. Looks like the Macho Man, but much fatter.
Yeah, but with a big gut.
These are awesome.
How do you find the miniatures?
Just Google Rumble Slam by TT Combat. I'm looking at them now. I'm gonna post this on the AMA links, but they're
great miniatures. Yeah, they're really cool. I've always thought about like, of all the miniatures that I've been like considering like getting to just use for a different purpose, like those are some of the ones I'm like, man, those are such neat models. Like, to have that.
Well, I was super excited for Liam's pirate event because I ended up getting those Black Scorpion fantasy undead pirates that I'm going to run. Talk about giving you.
Did you get the order in yet?
Yeah, we placed the order. Yeah, yeah, you got.
Oh no, is it? Yeah, but did you get it? Have you got it in?
No, not yet.
You'll get candy. I always mention that. They'll give you candy, British candy.
I don't think I've ordered from them several times. I don't think I've ever gotten candy.
God, British candy is the best.
Because the
they will send you British.
Or what?
It's just stuff you can't get here. Like I don't know. It's just like they were kind of like what is it, like fruity lifesavers, but they were like gummies.
Wine gummies.
Yeah, and like just stuff that you can't get here, and they'll send it.
You got those at Publix, didn't you?
Oh my god, no. These guys are awesome. They're wearing Speedos.
Oh yeah.
And this one you can see his nuggets.
What about there's like a dark elf team, or like a witch elf kind of team, like Pythona or something. She's got like a snake.
Wait, is this Ryan talking?
This is Ryan talking.
This is Ryan. Look, you're Ryan. I'm Sky. We're the ones that have feuded over the elves.
The elves.
The last AMA where like.
What about the elves? I don't remember.
We were talking about the witch elves coming out for GW, and I'm like, they're absolute shit.
Oh yeah, like. Oh yeah, I totally dig the sailor elves. I think they're cool as hell. I think they're neat. If I didn't have a GW team already, in fact, from Black Scorpion, I mean, if I didn't have a team, a dark elf team, I would totally get them. But
these are awesome. Holy crap! How could you not use these for Blood Bowl?
Yeah, exactly. So that would be my tidbit for tonight. Rumble Slam, everyone. You could even buy the main game and you get a game out of it.
There's Captain Keelhaul. He looks like Davy Jones. He'd be perfect for my undead pirates. That is so cool. Oh, they're in British pounds. $7 is going to be $96.
Yeah.
Goddamn exchange rate.
Why can't anyone in like Lithuania make miniatures? That's where the exchange rate's going to be great for.
They do. Trust me. You don't want them.
Yeah, no, they're made out of fecal matter.
No, I actually got duped once into buying some deathcore from a guy from Poland, and he said he had like a bunch of deathcore, and I'm like, cool, I'll take them. And they were all resin recasts. And what sucks about that is you get the regular mold line off the original mold, then you get a second mold line from their recast, and by the time it gets to you, it's like, what the? Like I literally used I think I still have like one model from them that I use as like a paperweight to hold stuff down when I'm doing the simple green stripping. That's what I use it for. The rest of them I just threw in a fire.
I bought a couple Blood Bowl miniatures that I thought were recasts. That I like look at them, I'm like, you don't look right, but they've
Metal
all
or
worked
resins?
well enough.
Metal or resin?
Metal.
Mine? Oh.
Yeah,
either.
Yeah. They looked metal, but they didn't. I'm talking. I used to have a lot of these miniatures back in the day, and I remember what they looked like. They didn't look like this. So.
Hey, where'd Josh go?
I'm here.
Are you hiding?
Paint.
Oh, there you are. Okay, you're in your hobbit hole making cool stuff.
Okay. I'm painting.
So to get to slightly official business, James. So who do you have now as official sponsors for your Stunty Slam event? We should probably plug them.
Well, that's a good idea. Here, let me go to the Stunty page because my memory's shite.
So
well, the biggest
tell
one
us what lovely prizes that they'll be giving us, or what lovely contributions they are making to the cause.
I heard about a fleshlight.
Yep, there's definitely a Hobbit fleshlight. It comes in 3 flavors: cherry, blueberry, and Snodgrass. Beer, yeah.
No pie flavor?
So I'm going to just go down starting from the top of the discussion here. But let's put it this way. So Stunty Slam is being pasteurized. No, not pasteurized. What's the word? It's being, I can't think of the word. It's being sponsored, which has nothing to do with pasteurization, but it was the first word that came to mind. Yeah. Pretty soon I'm going to start smelling burnt toast, and the stroke will slowly set in. I'll hear Billy Squire in the background going, stroke it, stroke it. Anyway, the Two Drunk Flings podcast, which is now the Two Drunk Flings and Friends, and I'm one of their friends, the U.S. Drunk Fling. Yay! They are sponsoring the event, and they sent over so many halflings that I was teasing them today. They're like, hey, did you get some miniatures? And I'm like, as a matter of fact, I did. And I said, they're running around my house eating all my food. I said, how do I turn them off? They're awesome. So those will be, I was actually thinking about begging Josh to paint just one up as a prize, because it is just such a badass miniature. But he's got his plate full, so we'll have to see about that. But anyway.
I'll paint whatever.
I know. You're so nice when it comes to the painting. I hate to take advantage. But they're sponsoring the event. Yeah, just take it. Just do it. Here you go. Paint it up.
Just take him. Just take your bitch, okay?
I just want to make my pies first.
Yeah. Make them pies.
Everybody gets a pie ball.
They're sending over the halflings some prizes, and they're just been extremely generous towards this event. So the trophy is actually in their likeness, is all I'm going to say. And it is the biggest trophy. And it is very unique. And when you see it, you're going to be like, huh, interesting. But yes, a lot of love to the Two Drunk Flings podcast, which I'm hopefully going to be recording something for them pretty soon. I don't know, how they do their thing, but I do know that there was some talk of me recording some stuff for one of their upcoming podcasts soon. And I'm going to try and cover this event so that they can put the recording on their podcast, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, they're the first and foremost. And then we got some. So let's start off with the Midwest Miniature guy. So Tom Nelson, and I found him on Facebook, and I've had some stuff done by him, and he does a tremendous job. And I don't know if you saw it or not, but he did a live event on his Facebook page where he painted up the miniature that I sent to him for this event, and that came from Grebo Miniatures, and it's a rat with a foaming tankard, and he's got the lobster claw.
Nice.
It is amazing. It is. I would shed a tear if I won that as a prize, which I hope to win something. So we'll see, but that would be an excellent prize. It was awesome getting the miniature from Grebo, who was supporting the event. They sent over a bunch of miniatures, a bunch of stunning stuff, some halflings, an ogre. So I reached out to several miniature painting companies and said, would you be willing to donate your time and paint this up as a prize for nothing? And they agreed. So I sent some stuff to Midwest Miniature Guy. I sent some stuff to the Lone Paintbrush. Mark Garcia, who won the Best Painted Yig contest during the last Christmas with Cthulhu, he is painting a prize as well. And then DOA Painting Studios, they're overseas, and he volunteered to paint up some stuff as well. So through the generosity of people in the Blood Bowl community, I received a donation of funds to assist with costs for putting on this free Blood Bowl tournament. And it was awesome for everybody to do. So I put that money to good use. I had him buy from his FLGS. And when I said that to him, he's like, what the fuck is an FLGS? I'm like, your friendly local game store. So he went and bought a Goblin team and an Ogre, and he painted them up, and he's shipping them over as we speak. And they look bloody amazing. So we got painted miniatures that we're doing as prizes. Then we have unpainted miniatures from Grebo that we're doing as prizes. Let's see, going down the list. There's the painting video. There's the stuff from DOA. So we got the dice. The dice cost me some money, but Daniel from Acaro Dice gave me a discount on the dice and free shipping. But the dice look amazing. They're the big guys from the Stunty Legends patch, and I kept going back and forth as to how I wanted to distribute them. Originally, when I was thinking about doing this, it was going to be you get one of each. So instead of getting a set of 2d6, you would actually get 3d6, one of each face. And then I had a couple of people be like, well, why don't you just, whatever race they're playing, give them a set of that and they could buy the rest and, make some money back for what you had to spend on the tournament. So what I do know is that I promised anyone who supported the event with, some generous donations, we're going to be doing a poster signing and everybody's hands are going to hurt. So no masturbation before this event because your wrists are going to hurt. All right, fair enough. That's fair. So
I'm going to be around so many stunty teams I can't contain myself.
So if we have 20 sponsors, then everybody's got to sign 21 posters. And then I'm sending each of the sponsors a signed poster from everybody at the event and a set of dice, some caps, some of the special play cards as a thank you. So I got to pay for all that shipping back to them. So I paid for the dice. But I'm very, very happy with the Caro. I mean, if you've known me, I've had my hatred of Chessex. I mean, don't get me wrong. I use Chessex in the tournaments that I've been running from the beginning because they were the only ones I knew about. And then as time, I'm not going to get into a Chessex bashing rant here, but all I could say is that when it comes to cost and customer service, sometimes you're willing to pay a little bit more for better service. And Daniel is part of the Blood Bowl community from Caro Dice. He goes to events, he sets up his stand, he supports a lot of tournaments. You don't get anything from Chessex. It's like getting blood from a stone. But when you get stuff from Daniel, I can't tell you how many times he sent me free sets of winner dice, like a gold, a silver, and a bronze. I didn't ask for those, and I didn't pay for those. So I don't mind paying a little bit more for that type of treatment or waiting a little bit longer. But the wait isn't, you call Chessex right now, and it's an 8-week wait for dice. You could get the same from Caro and have them shipped and get to you within 2 months. Anyway.
If we show up with Chessex dice and meeples, play you?
Oh, you could bring all the Chessex dice you want. The meeples, they could stay home, though. But I have a feeling I'm going to see at least 1 or 2 meeple teams, and I know there's a Smurf team coming. So I'm bringing the you remember that blowtorch that what's his name was selling? The rich guy.
Which one?
The NASA guy, not NASA, but the SpaceX. Yeah. I got me one of those. They're specific for meeples. Meeple flamethrowers.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna melt them down. We're gonna have s'mores.
If it's specific for meeple throwers, does that mean it doesn't work on anything else?
No, just meeples.
Oh, wow.
Let's see. Going down the list. So we got caps from... actually, that's not a cap. It just looks like a cap. It's their logo.
Oh, wait. There's swag?
Yeah. So you're getting swag just for showing up for a free event. Yeah, there's swag.
I like this. This is how millennials do things.
Yes, it is. So Bottlemark donated all the bottle caps. I didn't have to pay for shipping or anything. And when I asked, I figured the answer is always no unless you ask. So I sent them an email saying, hey, I'm running a free event, and, I buy caps from you, and a lot of the other tournament organizers are buying caps from you, and a lot of people who ask me about, swag and stuff, I recommend they buy from you. So is there any way you'd be interested in supporting our event? And they're like, how many caps? And I'm like, I don't know, like 200, something like that. And they're like, well, this seems to be a little bit outside of our thing. And I'm like, do you realize how much Blood Bowl there is out there? I said, this is your thing now. I'm like, you should be putting this on your website. So they sent caps for free. Didn't cost me anything.
See, when you said caps, I thought you meant hats.
Oh, hats? Well, they could be penis hats. So if you look at it like that, you get your caps and your hats, however you want to look at it.
Mine's a penis hat.
Now that you have said that, I will have to do it and take the picture and send it just to you.
That's fine. I accept all dick pics, I guess.
That's all I use them for.
Yeah, pretty much. RNS Studio. What can I say about Raphael is other than the man is brilliant and extremely generous and can't say enough good things. We're having a custom model made for Crucible right now that's going to knock everybody's socks off. If they're wearing socks. If they're not wearing socks, then I don't know what it's going to do to you. Something. But
it's going to knock those socks off.
Yeah, it'll put them on for you and then knock them right off.
This is Florida. We wear sandals. We'll knock our
Crocs
sandals off.
Specifically. I wear Crocs. Very good. If I could wear Crocs to work, I would. But yeah, we have RNS Studio who's donating some models, which are fantastic. Let's see, scrolling down the list, Grebo I mentioned before, they sent a butt ton of miniatures, so we're having some painted, and the rest are just going to be given out in blisters. What else here? Caro Dice we talked about. Bottle Mark we talked about. Mark Perry, the generous bastard that he is, a good friend of mine. He had donated so much stuff already to me prior to Stunty Slam that I still have left over that we're going to be giving out, and then he offered more. And it was one of the same thing. Like, I felt bad even saying yes, but and some of that comes from Tom Anders as well, who also sent support from Impact Miniatures. So Mark is sending some stuff that he has from Impact and his own little swag box, and then Tom Anders was kind enough to send out some additional prize support for this. I mean, I can't say enough good things about Tom Anders. If you've been listening to these AMAs since day one, Ryan and I have basically been worshiping at the altar of Tom Anders because he's just such a great guy for the community.
I'm talking with him, like, every tournament I've ever done, I've just said, hey, I'm running a tournament, can you help me out? And, like, he's just been like, boom, this is what I can do for you, and it's always amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no second guessing, no, like, anything like that. He's there for the community, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I was really happy when I first Knuckles Wild, when he gave me like a grab bag of minis for everybody, and I was able to give everybody something for it. That was pretty cool. He's a neat guy.
They're always willing to help too. Like, I've tagged him when stuff has come up, because Tom was part of the original rules committee for Blood Bowl, so he's very knowledgeable. He's just always willing to help. So yeah. I can't say enough.
Did he help with, like, the Ice Pelt edition? That's what
honestly, when we have him on here, that's a great question you could ask him, but I'm not sure.
I thought that's what I've heard. Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. Special play cards. I'm sure you guys have seen these by now. I've had them at Christmas with Cthulhu, and Joe had them in Inconceivable. So Jason Weaver, who we had on the AMA, I want to say he was on our first or second one. He started a little side thing called Special Play Cards, and the guy is just another one who's just extremely generous to the community, because having been in the printing business, I know what he could be charging for these cards. I mean, they're UV coated, they're round cornered, they're full color front and back, they're on a good stock, and he basically gives them away. I said, what do you even make off of these? And he's like, I make enough for a beer. I'm like, dude, you got to start getting at least a 6-pack or something. So come Chaos Cup, I owe so many people so many beers. Jason's one of them. He basically gave these to me at cost. So all I'm paying for is the printing fee and the shipping. So I think so Josh had a great idea, either during one of the AMAs or in between, so I do posters. I've been doing posters since Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, where just like, you're promoting a wrestling event or any kind of event, you see posters like up and around the high school or the forum or wherever you're at. And I thought it'd be cool to do Blood Bowl posters like this as a keepsake for the event. And I've been doing them since my first Blood Bowl event, which was a Hookie Bowl. And I ran an event before I ever played in an event. And my friend Gary helps me with the posters. And we did a Lord Borak, Ferris Bueller's Day Off combo called Lord Borak's Day Off. Or was it Borak Bueller's Day? I don't know. It's an awesome poster, and I actually have a few left. But I've been doing these posters ever since. And Josh had a great idea. He's like, I don't have room for all these posters. Like, if you look at Eric Nyberger, he's got a whole wall. He's got room. He's got real estate for posters probably for the next 2 years. But other people don't. So he came up with an idea, like, what if we did like cards? And the GW cards that you get and the special play cards from Jason Weaver are the same size, obviously. So I asked Jason if we can do an event card for Stunty Slam and for tournaments that I'm going to run in the future. And I may even go back and do some for the events that I've already had. So you can start collecting the cards as an event card. And it turned out really nice. So I got those for swag for the people, in addition to the special play cards. So if you play Halflings, then you get 3 Halfling cards. If you play Goblins, you get 3 Goblin cards. 2 Goblin cards, 2 Halfling cards, 2 Ogre cards. And then if you're one of those guys who brings a not stunty team, there are 2 non-stunty cards. And then I figured Underworld would do the Goblin cards, and I'm going to let Lizardman pick a race, not knowing what they do, and then they can choose whatever cards for that race. But yeah, the special play cards turned out really nice. Jason was sending me special play card pics from the parking lot in his car after he picked them up from the printer, and they look amazing.
Can we get, like, instead of the race we bring, can we get a different race's cards that we want to play someday instead of the race that we're trying to get away from?
If I have some left over, I was hoping to maybe send some out, and I didn't get a shit ton, but I did get some extras, so I'll have no problem. And if you end up playing in an event where they allow special play, and the special play cards were pretty balanced. They were NAF approved. I did a focus group of stunty coaches and people. Josh was in that group, and everybody came up with some really great ideas for special play cards. So I kind of just cherry picked what I thought would work well and what would be not unbalanced in the game. And right. I sent them off to the NAF during the tournament approval, and they were approved. So I feel pretty confident about them. But one of them, I think Ryan specifically came up with that I just love. It was Ryan, if you remember, once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah, I remember. Yes. I don't know if you want to tell everyone.
No, you could. Yeah, it's a little spoiler, just one.
I'm having a hard time 100% remembering. So it was if one of your guys kills one of the players, they make a second. What it was?
Yeah, that's it. So I don't know how. It sounds like you were breaking up a little bit there. I don't know how much everybody heard.
Yeah,
I heard the Matrix.
Oh. Let me see. If you kill a person, and it has to be a kill. It's got to be a kill action with an injury kill. If you kill a player, then you can immediately take another blitz action and smack another dude. So once you pop, you can't.
I liked it. That was awesome. So let's see. Then we got I talked about DOA Painting Studio doing the painting. 2 Drunk Flings. Midwest Miniature Guy. Oh, FF Fields. So Jack has been primarily doing so many of our pitches, but I have a history with FF Fields from back when I first started running tournaments, and they do the puzzle pitches, and they also do the modular pitches. So it's been a while. So I was reaching out to everybody that I had a relationship with, and there's a huge event coming up in October, Crucible. So I wanted to get and Jack is super busy. Super, super busy. He's prepping all the pitches for Chaos Cup. He's got, orders out the wazoo. So I wanted to get one pitch for us to use as a test pitch for the Crucible, for the Death Bowl event. So FF Fields already had one. So all I did was customize the art a little bit. And I was getting that pitch anyway. So while I was getting it, it was the perfect opportunity for me to say, hey, while I'm spending some money with you, how would you feel about supporting our event? And he was very cool with it. So he's sending out some prize support as well. And then the pitch that we got from FF Fields was actually paid for with funds from the Voodoo Tournament Series. So we're going to put those funds back and raffle off this pitch at some point between now and Crucible. And it is a glorious looking Death Bowl pitch. That's a puzzle pitch. It's amazing. So we got tournament support from FF Fields. Lone Paintbrush. I kept saying Grebo Miniatures. It's actually Hungry Troll. Boy, I feel like a jerk now.
You're getting sued.
I don't know about sued, but I'm definitely gonna get pissed on. But anyway, yeah, it wasn't Grebo. Yeah, golden showers are great, especially before bedtime.
You know what?
Yeah, that too. So I'm sorry, it wasn't Grebo. I did reach out to Grebo. I don't know if we got anything from him yet. But it was Hungry Troll who sent out all the cool miniatures that are being painted up. So I do apologize. Maelstrom Gaming Mat. So speaking of Jack, I was hoping Jack would find the time to be able to do a stunty pitch. There's going to be one coming at some point for the Stunty Legends patch. It's in the works, but he's just got so much on his plate right now, and he will be doing the Death Bowl pitches for us. Because it's a 2-man team event, so you're gonna have 4 coaches on the pitch, and if you've ever seen a Death Bowl pitch, They're rather unique and rather large. So he did one for Brian too. Rocky Mountain Rampage did a Death Bowl event. So we're going to have Jack do our pitches, and there's enough time to get them done for October. But like I said, I wanted to have one for us to do a test run on for the rules and everything, and we're going to raffle that off. But Jack is Maelstrom Gaming Mats is our official vendor for that, and they're going to do our pitches. But Jack was also very nice in sending us prize support for Stunty Slam. Some counters, some I don't know what. I asked him what he officially calls them, and he was making fun of me slightly because I called them something like, really turdy. But have you seen the dice? I think I called them a dice bowl. They're like a mouse pad, but the ends have snaps, and they form like a container, kind of.
Like a bowl.
Like a bowl, yeah, but they're not called bowls. There's an official name for them.
A dice tray.
A tray. I think you're right. I think he called them a dice tray. I'd have to go back and look and see what he called them. But he sent me those as prizes for his Powtown Canadian Blood Bowl tournament up there that he does. He did custom dice cups and slammers. So, and dog tags he did. Jack sent me a bunch of cool stuff for prizes. So I'm very excited to...
That's the second time today I heard the word slammer. What is that?
So the dice cup base, they call them slammers.
Yeah.
Depending on what part of the world you're in. Tomato.
The dice cup. Oh, so it's a dice cup?
It's a dice cup. It almost looks like a saucer that you kind of slam the dice cup down on to where the dice would go.
Okay.
Was that
what happens after the strip club?
Yes. Yeah. Either way, a lot of good stuff from Maelstrom Gaming Mats. Impact Miniatures we talked about. Tom Anders. KR Multicase. So our friends at KR Multicase, who Joe also had prize support from them for Inconceivable, they were very generous and sent us out a few miniature cases for prizes. I want to say we have 3 of them, 3 or 4. The Both Down podcast, always amazing guys, support the Blood Bowl community. All I had to do was ask, and they were very generous in sending out a very nice selection of swag that we'll be distributing. Let's see, what else do we got? I think that's it. There may be a few other ones in there that I can't remember or didn't. Well, no, I posted about everybody. So
if people aren't getting onto the drift, if you come, there's a really good chance you're going to get something. You're definitely going to get something, but there's a good chance you'll get something nice because there's a lot of stuff.
Yes. So the way I wanted to do it was clear. Whoever wins Stunny Cup is going to get the trophy. But aside from that, all the prizes are going to be kind of randomized. I think the way I'm going to do it is raffle tickets. So if you score a touchdown, you get a raffle ticket. If you get a casualty, you get a raffle ticket. If you there will be a list of things. And if you do any one of the things on the list, you'll get a raffle ticket. And then you will have it's either that where you take the raffle ticket or tickets and you put them in the jar for the prize you want. So let's say all these prizes are out on a table with a jar in front of it. We could do it that way. And this way, if you really want something and you have 20 tickets or 30 tickets and you put them all in that one jar, there's a very good chance you're going to walk away with whatever that one thing is. Or the other way of doing it is assigning a ticket to a prize, and when you do something first, you get that raffle ticket that goes to that prize, but you don't know what that prize is yet. You just know you got a raffle ticket. And then at some point, during the night, we can start awarding the prizes based off the raffle tickets. I hadn't decided if I should do it as like a blind raffle or if I should do it as an assigned raffle, based off
both.
Yeah, we could.
You could do, some of the smaller prizes, just do a blind raffle. And some of the really, nice stuff, you could do assigned raffle. Cool.
The bottom line, though, is that everybody has a very good chance of getting something. You don't just have to be a winner in order to get a prize, a cool prize. More than likely, everybody's going to go home with something. And that's how. So I wanted it to be a free event. I wanted it to be equal opportunity as far as getting prizes. I wanted it to be all about Stunty. I don't know. I think it's just going to be awesome seeing all the tables full of all Stunty teams. So we'll see how that works. So far, I haven't caught and whiff that anybody was bringing a non-Stunty team.
See, it's so like a Stunty type thing. You can say you don't have to win to get a prize.
Exactly. There may even be multiple wooden spoon prizes. So I don't know. We'll see.
I know what that means.
But yeah, a lot of good stuff, and I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know if this will be an every year type thing. Only because I'm finding out like it's one thing to have an idea like, hey, let's do a free Blood Bowl tournament, but then I have a hard time compromising when it comes to certain things. But I have no problem paying for it out of my pocket. That's the thing. So, but I'm realizing that in order to do something at a certain level, that there definitely is a cost associated with it. So even a free event is not an easy thing to do, but I'm glad I'm doing it. I think, and I'm glad that I'm getting, Ken Washington's coming down. I'm glad to see him there. Ramsey's going to be. There's going to be a painting contest for best painted team. So Ramsey, although he can't play, he'll be there to just kind of hang out for a little bit and judge the painting contest. So I'll be happy to have him there. I'm pretty sure I just found out that Jim Lanier, Old Man Monkey, is going to come over for both events, the Graveyard Cup on Friday and then the Stunty Slam on Saturday. And I hope he plays in both. I know we're going to talk about the Three Kingdoms Challenge, which now I've done a lot of talking, and I really don't want to, keep talking about all this stuff, but I do want to mention the Three Kingdoms Challenge because as y'all, the three viewers that we have on here, I don't think anybody else is really listening tonight, but either way, I'm doing a lot of promotion and marketing for the event now, and everything's going to start to be finalized. So these events too, there's going to be a Road to Three Kingdoms Challenge that is going to be they're both going to be in Tampa. I'm fairly certain of that. One is going to be in November, the Road to Three Kingdoms, and whoever wins that will get a free entry into the Three Kingdoms Challenge. And the Three Kingdoms Challenge event is going to be a 2-day Blood Bowl event, Saturday and a Sunday, also held in Tampa. And it's going to be a big deal. It's 15 years anniversary since it was run. Started in 2004. I've had a lot of people talking about it over the years, wanting for it to come back. And I thought this is an event that, Florida should have every year. And, working with Jim has been great. Everybody loves him in the community. He's well respected. And to be able to work on this tournament with him, like one generation of Blood Bowl to another, I think it's just, I'm enjoying every moment of it. I'm savoring every moment of it. Like if you talk to anybody about Jim Lanier, you'll get an idea of what the man's about and how much he's loved in the community. And to be able to work with him this closely on bringing this tournament back to Florida, like I have, goals, whether it be getting my Stunty red patch or, making my 24-26 or I want to say Stunty Slam would be or Oktoberfest in October is going to be my 20th Blood Bowl event that I've put on, 20. So like I have all these like little things and they mean a lot to me, but like doing this tournament with Jim is probably the biggest highlight so far of all the things that I've done in the Blood Bowl community. So I'm really excited about it and I'm really promoting the hell out of it.
Speak of the devil.
Oh, did he hop on? Hey, were your ears burning?
No, tonight is the normal gaming session night and a totally different thing. I have believe it or not, a Forge of Empires group that I play with, and so settling things there, and suddenly was checking the email and saw your invite, and I said, well, I'll just click on and say hello to you and see how everything's going.
Well,
it's going good. It was perfect timing.
Why is it perfect timing?
I was just singing your praises.
Oh no! Are you sure you know enough about me to think there's anything praiseworthy?
Well, a dirge could still be a song. right?
Well, a lament, I suppose.
Well, we had Ramses on last week, and he spoke very highly of you.
He actually with his lack of modesty sent me a message, a PM, and said, "Did you see how I was singing your praises?" So I had to go back. I had to go back and listen to it, and he was flattering by far too much. But it's always a joy to hear him speak, and I mean he is very
passionate,
humble in his own right, because in his day, not only was Norse a really good player. I mean, he's still a fine player now. But he was very passionate about the game and very involved, and was considered worldwide to be one of the very best painters. He is really extraordinary when he concentrates. Now, I haven't seen anything he's painted probably in the last 2 or 3 years, but my intuition tells me his fastidiousness and his care. He probably still paints to a very high standard.
He's too busy drinking and putting together Legos.
Well, the Legos, of course, he claims they're for the sons, but I don't buy that for a moment. And he's always drinking. He's one of the ones that gets me in trouble with the whole drinking part. Of course, I have no problem with my English counterparts and my Dutch counterparts, because they will indeed get me in trouble when it comes to the drinking. Not being much of a drinker myself, those guys are set up quite a high standard.
Well, it's funny you would mention that, because there's his name's Clay. Gentle Giant is his NAF name, and if you ever meet him, you'll know why. He at the Inconceivable tournament, he wore a Fezzik shirt because he could be the living embodiment of Fezzik. Big dude. Anyway, so he's running his first Blood Bowl tournament, which is going to be at a brewery. And I knew it. When he started telling me about it, I'm like, he's like, I don't know how this is going to go over. I'm like, dude, this is going to go over so big, because everybody's been wanting to have like a beer and Blood Bowl tournament.
Oh yeah, it is the perfect game to be in a beer garden environment. It is just, or a pub, or I mean, our Tulips has always been played in a pub. Our invitational tournament has in Amsterdam has always been played in a pub, and then I think I regaled you with the stories of the first World Cup, how we absolutely drank both the Bugman's Bar at Games Workshop headquarters and the White Star Pub completely dry for 3 days. They could not keep up with the drinking demands.
That's epic. Cool. Well, my first taste of Blood Bowl and beer was at a Moracle Cup at the brewery when they started serving the alcohol at 10 a.m.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you what, those Canadians held their alcohol very well.
Oh, well, Glenn and that crowd are pretty well known for their partying. I think Glenn's been to all of the World Cups now.
Really?
I know he was in Italy, and I know he was, pretty sure he was in Holland. I don't recall him necessarily being at Nottingham, but Nottingham is still so many memories about Nottingham. People have to show me the pictures in order for me to believe.
Hey, you remember being at Nottingham, right? No, I don't.
Well, it was for the organizers, myself, my girlfriend at the time, Rita, who's a very good friend and helped me from the start, and then all the people who were putting that first World Cup on. I mean, it was pretty much a 2-hour cat nap, and at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you were up again at 5 to make sure that everything was arranged and done. So it was not a lot of sleep.
Yeah, some of us have pregame rituals which involve alcohol, and then we've been going out after the events and having some adult beverages. But this will be the first time where we're actually playing and drinking at the same time. So we're going to have to do our our best to show our English cousins that we can keep up with them.
Right. I mean, but you have to. I mean, you have to have your own goals. You have to kind of play to your own goals. Like stay within yourself, because there are certain people who can drink more than others. And if you try to keep up with the wrong person, by the time you hit the third game of the day, you're going to be pretty much not setting up your board correctly, rolling consistently with the wrong dice. So,
yeah, playing butt ass naked, I could definitely happen.
Well, round 3, you'll be setting up your goblins and be like, dude, I thought you were playing Norse in this tournament. What happened? What would you do?
They are Norse, but they look like, I don't know.
Did we play at the? I forget at the last the tournament we had in Tampa a couple of months ago. I guess it's because traditionally there was a 15-minute time gap between the last game ending and the award ceremony. So there were several NAF inspired or I want to say curmudgeons, the old curmudgeons. Did we play triple skulls?
No, we didn't.
Okay, because I know we did it in Moracle, because I just kind of looked around at everybody and with a feigned look of disgust and said, I can't believe you guys haven't kept this going. Man.
We're going to need to reinstate that. You had a huge crowd around you, because I remember trying to peer through the massive bodies and be like, what the hell are they doing over there?
It should not have been that much of a surprise, because, back in 10 years ago, that's the way what we did, because now everything's calculated on the laptop and you can get the results out in no time. So people are ready to go. But back when it was hand calculated and figured it, and then
you were killing time waiting for the results, so you would be playing that.
So we were playing. So we played triple skulls, and we had prize, and then the late night game of choice. I don't know whether you guys have seen the Rat Ogre Bowl. Have you played Rat Ogre Bowl?
No, but Ken Parks keeps talking about this because he wants to do it, and
well, that's the late night drinking game after at 2 a.m. That's sort of Rat Ogre Bowl is everybody has a Rat Ogre, and you have it's essentially a square pitch. I think you use a regular pitch, but you kind of decide what's your way of getting off and scoring, and you have to make an attempt. In other words, you have to blitz. You have to go get the ball, and you have to pick it up, and then you have to go. So rat ogres are crashing everywhere, and when you finally get to blitz them, they're of course +1 to each other. So there's these insane ball things going on. And I have played that innumerable times in Europe, sitting in a lobby, a hotel lobby or a hostel lobby, or just sitting in the middle of a park, playing Rat Ogre Bowl and just all the absurdities that transpire.
We'll definitely be pulling out all the stops and doing these classic things at the events in Tampa.
The what is it? Death Roller races too. That's another game that they have out there.
I've heard of those. I've not seen them. I find it not amazing. I find it interesting as I slowly let myself get pulled back into some of this. That the attraction of street brawl, whatever. Ramsey's game, as I call it.
He didn't mention this when he was on. He did not mention it.
What's that?
He didn't mention it when he was on, and he sent me a message after it was over, and he's like, "Hey, did you know?" And I'm like, "I had no idea."
You mean he didn't mention that he actually created that game?
No.
Well, then he was being really humble.
He is, yeah. He sent me a message after the AMA, and he's like, "Hey, did you know I wrote the rules for that?" And I'm like, "No, that's something that would have been awesome for you to mention." But he did not mention.
Oh yeah, and well, that was another one that oh God, I'll screw it up. So you really need to hear the history from him. But I'll give you the broken history first. That was another one that was designed to be like for 1 days where they wanted to get more games in, and they really wanted to didn't want to have a full set, and they wanted to create. You could kind of create your own teams, and they wanted the rules to be a far more bizarre set of rules. And it was really for the people who wanted to hit somebody. I mean,
yeah,
just
nothing's
get them
changed.
all in a tight, get them all in a tight space. Just get all the figures in a tight space and just go to town. So
that makes total sense. One of the guys, he's been playing with Ramsey in online football, and they actually haven't met each other. So they're going to meet each other for the first time. His name is Kai, and he's been coming up and playing in our events. So he'll meet Ramsey at Stunty Slam, but Ramsey has told him this multiple times that he wrote the rules for it, I guess, over the course of their, knowing each other. And Kai's like, I told you this. And I'm like, yeah, my memory's shit. So I don't remember. But then he just told me, he's like, yeah, they were drunk when they wrote the rules. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense.
Oh, yeah. Before Ramsey was married, he was quite a character. And Carolyn has, the sweet, wonderful woman that she is has calmed him and made him the sensible, talented professional that you see in front of you today. He is quite a guy, but in his day, he would be the last one to bed and the first one up.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I can get a sense of that. It was funny because when we were running events in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, I think it was like we had a couple of tournaments under our belt, and then we get like, I don't know if it was an email. He's like, hey, I live in Connecticut. I'm thinking about coming down to one of your events. And then when he came down, we meet this diminutive Scottish guy, and he's listening to him, he's playing dwarves, and he's, cussing and with his accent, and we're like, where did this guy come from, and can we keep him? And then he started coming to all the events, and he's just such a great guy as I've gotten to know him. And I'm glad that, since I moved out of Pennsylvania, there's so much crap about Facebook and social media, but then there's so many good things, like being able to stay in touch with Ramsey like that. And, here he is coming down to Florida with his wife on vacation. And obviously I wanted him to come play in the Stunty Slam. And he's like, do you even know what'll happen to me if I come down to Florida and on the first night I say to my wife, I'm going to play in a Blood Bowl tournament? Do you even know? And I'm like, why don't you tell me? And he's like, there will be no sex for me. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going to ruin that on you. Yeah. But he is going to come over.
She's been quite patient over the years.
Oh, yeah. I could imagine.
She's been quite a trooper. She's a pretty skillful painter in her own right, and I've not played her like I have Jenny, Extreme's wife, and a number of the other women that have come into the circle and that stuff. As always, it seems like with this kind of game, it is male heavy, but there are some brilliant women players, and I really love to see. I love to see both the young people involved, and I love to see the women that come in. There is one particular Italian woman, Gloria Artica is her name. She always plays on one of the Florentine sides, and she is wild beyond belief, and just a very, very. She's not afraid to try the crazy stuff.
Nice.
It's fun, and I hope everybody gets more and more into Blood Bowl, and that there's young, old, male, female, everybody. I mean, I had worried way back at the start of NAF. I think one of our earlier discussions after 2 years was, well, what's going to happen? It's kind of this, it's the same group, and it's the same people that are really getting into, but how do we grow the game? And so that's when we started doing a lot of PR effort with trying to cooperate with Games Workshops and going out to the cons and getting, Blood Bowl events in places that there weren't actually Blood Bowl events at the time. So,
well, I think it's worked.
I think so. I think there's a whole community now. Like, well, you are one of the perfect examples to feel comfortable in traveling and going to another part of the country or another city, another place, and because you enjoy the game and you seek it out, it kind of gives credence to the idea that the community is solid and the community is involved and interested enough so that you can always find a group of 12, 15 people that are interested in playing, and you can do that a lot of places now. A lot of places.
You can, and one of the goals, like before I was talking about goals, and running this tournament with you for the Three Kingdoms Challenge is a huge goal, and it's something that's like the feather in my Blood Bowl crown, so to speak. But one of the
aspire higher than that, but this will definitely be a step. This will definitely be a step. I will tell you, Jim, it's actually absolutely as much fun for me to start thinking about this. I mean, the one thing I will want to do, and it's the reason that in the emails we talked about, was to impose or to overlay, not impose as much as just simply overlay the team aspect on it, because that's the one thing that the United States does not get is the idea. I mean, what really has kept the long-term people in and excited that I think the newer people all over, particularly in Europe, is the team aspect, and that's what's made the World Cup successful, and that's what made Euro Bowl. And then when I saw it, I finally put the nail in that sort of thought when I saw the way that the league in Florence, Italy, had divided itself up into, I think I mentioned, like they had like 5 color groups, and so they had 60 or so players within their local league.
Wow.
What they did is they divided all of that league up, all of those 60 players up into the color groups, and so they played kind of a team. Black would play white on one game night, and red would play green, and blue would have off or whatever. And it made it at the end, when it was finally down to the last 2, I think it was red and white were playing each other for the league championship. It was insane, and it was still a team. I mean, it was still the best players,
right?
But it was the number 1 player on the red team played the number 1 person on the white team, and they went down the line that league night, and it was wild because everybody else came so that they could drink and cheer on their favorites and then stuff. And the red team brought all of their supporters, the white team brought all their supporters. It was amazing. So that's the one part about the American experience that, as of yet, really is lacking. I mean, Moracle was a definite step in the right direction, but I want to as I see it, that's the next hopeful growth for maybe some of the larger tournaments, maybe Gen Con and Chaos and that kind of stuff can start saying, if you want to play as a team, it can be all voluntary, but you can score it. You can quite naturally score. The individuals keep it as a group together, and then you can have it as much as possible assigned the next round based upon those scores of the team as well.
So for anyone listening, to us right now, you're kind of getting a hint as to what's going to come for the 2-day Three Kingdoms Challenge event in March 2019. Jim had the idea of wanting to bring this team element into it, and as we get closer to the event, we're going to have the rule set out there at some point that details this and how it's going to work, but it's just going to add another layer of competitiveness or team options, which I think is going to go over really big here in Florida, because so we're kind of doing that for Death Bowl, where it's a 2-man team, 2-on-2, and immediately right off the bat it got an overwhelmingly positive reception. So I think adding this into the Three Kingdoms Challenge is going to be a very good layer of a very good option.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, I think most of these things are already worked out. I mean, because they've been doing the kind of thing that I'm talking about in Europe for years now. So it does require, though, a kind of player that gets the whole community thing. I had often thought because I'm not a big game shop player. I don't play Magic. I don't play any of those other. I never played any other Games Workshop games. So for me to go to a game shop and see like people with all the stereotypes, or at least a good number of them, I would go, well, is this for me or not? And it does require stepping out of that and not being sort of the lone wolf, like I've got the great uber powered 40K army or whatever, and stepping into a game where now you're part of the team, and now you're like, you got guys on your side that you're like going, yeah, come on, roll, come on, dice, you're just crazy. And helping each other out. I mean, you usually sit there on the Blood Bowl board, and that decision is like, do I do one more go for it or not? It's usually pretty lonely, but having two or three people going, one of them as on your right shoulder going, yeah, go for it, and the other one's going, I don't know.
I was just thinking that in my head, like, yeah, a little Nuffle guy on your left going, don't do it. Another guy on the right saying, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting. I don't think if we do something in as we talked about in November, I don't think we'll play team there, but we will have a discussion with everybody who attends and have an open opportunity to give everybody a feel of how it works, and then maybe even score the tournament in November without actually playing that way, so everybody can see how the final results would.
I agree. I think that would be, it's why we want to do that November event as the Road to the Three Kingdoms Challenge, to kind of start bringing people, into focus for that event. But there's already an overwhelming response. People are wanting to start planning their vacation now, start getting the time off of work now. It's going to be a big event.
What I'm hoping is that there's maybe four or five people that are even more adventurous and are willing to say, oh my God, now I've got to go to World Cup, and it would be fun at some point. I don't know how much longer I'm, number one, going to be around, but number two, since we committed to doing it only every 4 years, I mean, the World Cup is a pretty amazing experience. And so I'm hoping that there would be a group from this area that eventually takes it over and takes on a flag of Florida kind of thing.
Oh, I think so. I mean, this year we're going to have close to 10 people at Chaos Cup.
Right. Oh no, I saw that. That's like an amazing. I mean, that's going to be like 10% or so of the attendance. I hope, and that would be awesome. I haven't made up my mind. This year, 2018, is a transitive year for me, but I am looking to 2019 to settle on the handful of things that I don't have a bucket list to do before I die, but I just want to see my friends for the rest of my life now. So 2019 is when I really put that in high gear, and I'm traveling and working and only doing things that get me around the people that I care about and the people that I enjoy having a good time with.
And that's the way to live. Absolutely.
You gotta. It's a goal. It's definitely a goal.
So we were very lucky, and maybe I thought it was lucky, but I guess if you played against them, you probably didn't think it was very lucky. So we had a Canadian from Quebec, Manuel Leclerc, was in Florida on vacation, and he came to our Blood Bowl tournament in Jacksonville and had a great time. He went undefeated. He didn't take home first place, but he came down, made an impression. Everybody, he was a great sportsman. Everybody had a great time playing against him. And, he and I were talking, and of course, the rumor is that Canada is going to have the next Oracle Cup. So we were talking about that, and
they want to do it in Montreal.
Grant Hortz, is that his last name?
Okay, but I mean, what city do they want to have it in?
I want to say in and around that area, like wherever Grant is from. From what I heard, the rumor is that he'd be organizing it and putting in the bid.
Okay, well that's interesting because in many ways Canada suffered from the same geography challenges that the United States does, because there's a great group out in BC, and then there was kind of a smaller group in Red Deer, a Red Deer, is that where Torgus was? And then of course there were the Toronto versus Montreal people who almost really hated each other. I mean, they were polite, but they really they when they went city to city, there were some dice throwing and shouting going on. But
that's all the alcohol talking.
You play Blood Bowl like you play hockey, you little.
It is exactly the Habs versus the Leafs. It is exactly Habs versus Leafs. And I remember going up to Toronto with my Tampa Bay Lightning shirt on in 2004, just after the war, to play a Blood Bowl tournament, and got invited that same weekend to see Montreal in Toronto at the center. And we didn't actually get into the game, so we sat in a bar just on the street next to the arena. And I had more fun that night when they were going, "Go Leafs, go have them," and there was all this kind of stuff. And I would stand up with my Lightning shirt going, "Yeah, go Bolts," and do that kind of stuff. And it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. But so those guys are passionate. The Blood Bowl people, I think I described to you another just legend. I'm hanging off of that term. Let you use it. The one of the most well-known and most respected painters that I've ever seen in Blood Bowl was Anthony Watts, who was the first vice president and became for a few months the president when John left. But Anthony Watts was just one of the, and probably still is, just amazing painters. He has. I don't know if you remember the big guy figure from the very first one. What is it? The snow, whatever. The
snow troll.
Snow troll. There you go. Is it the snow troll? Okay. It's just this massive, hairy, fangy beast and that kind of stuff. He painted one of those up and blew even the studio's mind at Games Workshop. I mean, he was that good. He is that good.
I think when you say massive hairy beast, you just described half of the Blood Bowl community.
That's true.
Well, we have great fun when we talk about size and whatever. Norse is the most pugnacious about his size or at least one of the most pugnacious about his size that I know. But it is all about the heart. It's like the size of the heart of the dog, as they say.
Having Manuel at our event, I think, might have started something.
Oh yeah,
because Eric was like, "Who is this guy? Where did this Canadian come from?" Because Eric is a good player in our group, and Manuel pitch cleared him. So Eric took it like, I want to play him again. And I'm like, well, I said, in order to do that, we may have to go to Canada. He's like, I'm down with that. Let's go. So that's all it takes is to get one or two people, like this year with Chaos Cup, being like, well, there's a bunch of us going. Now all of a sudden there's a bunch of us flying out, and there's a road trip.
Yeah, when you're road tripping and everybody's pitching in on gas and food and like pow. I mean, I can't count the number of times when we were back in 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 when there would be like 4 of us all piled into a hotel room and sleeping on floors and that kind of stuff. I was lucky. I admit that part of the reason I was able to do a lot of the things that I was able to do in a very unique way is that I could build my work around it. So I was able to, provide a hotel room and everybody piled there, or pick people up with a rental car and save all that kind of stuff. So I was very fortunate that my work was such, and I traveled in such a way that I could build around the tournaments and take time off and go internationally and do those kinds of things. But and I fully recognizing that is not most. It is something that most people have to gather their pennies and plan on it and get the time. That's how come for me the experience has got to be worth the effort. I mean, if you're gonna go through all this, if you're gonna drive overnight and pay for a hotel and lodge with 5 or 6 other sweaty guys.
Are we not supposed to be doing that regularly?
No. I say if you're gonna do that, then the experience should be worth it. It should be a good time. I mean, it's something that you want to come back going, oh, fuck, you're not going to believe what we did. And it's not just, and it should not just be what I've always told the American players, particularly, it should not be just about the play on the pitch. You want to play players that know the rules and can give you a challenge. And if they beat you, you want it to feel like, okay, they played well. One of my frustrations is, the first round of a Blood Bowl tournament, I say frustrations. It's really just kind of like, okay, I've got to get my teacher's hat mode and say, no, this guy moves like this. you can't move him there. You got to move him here. But so there's still a lot of that. Some of that, I guess. But I noticed that now more and more everywhere I go, everybody knows the rules. Everybody's played a few games and that kind of stuff. But you still get that same experience you just described of like, oh, man, I've been a big fish in my pond forever. Okay, guess what? There's a couple other really big fish out there. And you better be ready for it. Because I remember the American experience and even the Australian experience and sort of the isolated people that really had not played as many games of the Blood Bowl as were going on in Europe at the time. And they were coming over that first World Cup and going, holy shit, I don't have a player left on the board, and it's only round 5. Like, okay, yeah, you're going to find people like that.
It's eye-opening.
Yeah, it'll humble you in a hurry.
I want to know if people in Blood Bowl and if we play Blood Bowl in South America and Mexico, and if they score a touchdown, they're going like, go!
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
The only time that I've actually heard that was when, I think it was, I guess it had to be Amsterdam, but that doesn't sound right. It might have been London. Anyway, I was overseas at one of the, I know, it was Paris. That's right, it was Paris. Where there was a big Blood Bowl tournament going on when the French won the World Cup in 98. Was that 98? Yeah, it couldn't have been right. Anyway, it was one of the times that there was 2008. Yeah, 2008. Where all you heard was goal, and you would hear all of the restaurants and cafes stuff in Paris had that same. No matter what their nationality was, they all had the game on, and you would hear that goal because they would be listening to the Spanish broadcast, and you hear goal, and you'd be thinking about it while you were playing your Blood Bowl game, going, "Oh my god!" So
they all start doing like a salsa dance and the Macarena and whatnot.
Oh yeah, well there was the other big time is that the other two big events that have gone on in Europe when we have Blood Bowl tournaments. Very large-scale Blood Bowl tournaments have been the rugby Six Nations tournament, World Championship, and then the Euro Championship.
Is Six Nations where like the Aussies and the All Blacks and the South Africans and England and all them throw down in a big tournament for rugby?
Let's see, it's England, France, Italy, Spain, Wales. And one other make up the 6 of Europe, and then they have like an all nations one where they throw in Aussie, New Zealand, the All Blacks, and that stuff. And I think that's the World Championships. And I have seen equal craziness at the rugby that I see it like now during the World Cup. The rugby people, because I mean they look at the soccer players with total disdain. I mean they just like, oh, look at those guys running around there with short shorts on and that kind of stuff. It's like there's no hitting on them, and they even laugh at the American football players. It's like, really,
you're wearing pads? What's that for?
or it's like, well, no, they play for what 2 40-minute hats.
Yep.
Yeah, 240-meter halves. So they're constant motion, tackling for 80 minutes. And they look at like, okay, you guys have like the offense plays this and the defense plays that. So you guys have about 70 plays where you go off and are energetic for about 7 seconds.
See, I played rugby in high school, and it was like the most favorite sport I ever played after I played football. When I played football, it was boring as all heck because it was always you have to stand like this when the ball snaps, and it's this play, you got to go here, and then you got to do this, and there's all this thinking going involved, and I'm like, I didn't think you thought in football. I thought you just hit the guy in front of you, and that was it. So I got into rugby, and I know it's not politically correct to say this, but rugby for me was a massive game of, I'm going to say it, smear the queer, and I don't mean that in a derogative way, because literally it's just, you see the guy with the ball, go hit him, and it's just nonstop back and forth, and then there's the shorts in rugby, which are kind of like yoga spanks that go up your butt. So that's fun. And plus, like, what's always said is that soccer is a gentleman's game played by hooligans,
right?
And rugby is a hooligan's game played by gentlemen. Because,
exactly.
like, soccer players, if you flick them in the ear, they drop to the ground and start faking a foul. Rugby players, you can clean clock them right in the face. Their nose will break, and they'll be like, that's a good hit, man. And after the game, they don't give a shit. Okay.
Well, when I ran the bookstore at South Florida for about 4 years, we built the new bookstore and moved it in, kind of upgraded the facilities and stuff. And while I was there, they asked us to do a number of different sports championships, and I was there when the football team was first installed, and we sold the first things at the stadium and all that kind of thing. But one of the club teams that we sponsored, and I had done it because I had been in Europe and I just loved the difference of the two, was the men and women's rugby teams, and they were all club teams. I mean, they were not sponsored officially by the university or whatever. I made sure that they had jerseys and kind of an awards banquet at the end of the year and all that kind of stuff, because that exact quote was what I would open up with. I said, "Oh, good, let's have a toast to the game that's played by gentlemen as opposed to rugby." So, one of my favorite times, but that's another whole side. I like, one of the things I like about Blood Bowl is that it does include aspects of several different American football, of course, but it does include the rugby side, it does include the soccer side, but it does include a number of different field games that you would look at and enjoy that way. So,
these animes are really good for getting painting done.
I wonder what those noises were. Now
he just likes to make omelets. He's eaten about 20 omelets already since we've been on here.
He's getting there.
Up.
Well, it sounds like you guys have a lot to talk about and that kind of stuff, and it's really fun to click on for a second and say hi.
You're not leaving already, are you?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna. It's.
No, you gotta tell us about Hendrix and brown acid and all that stuff. Come on.
You gotta come to the tournament in November to hear him talk about it. That's what's gonna bring you to the tournament.
I think you and I had decided that I'm gonna come over for the 1 or 2 days of whatever's going on next month in Orlando, so we can actually be face to face. Now, remind me again, the tournaments in July that we're talking about are
Graveyard Cup, which is going to be on Friday the 13th at Sci-Fi City.
And then there's a Stunty, is that right?
Stunty Slam is a free Blood Bowl tournament that's going to go on at Campus Cards and Collectibles on Saturday the 14th, and both of them are in the evening. Ramsey's going to be at that event. He's coming to judge the painting.
It'll be a Friday and Saturday gig, right? So I'll just plan on coming over and being there for Friday and spending the night, and being there for Saturday, have lunch or dinner with Rams, and we'll have a chance to talk some Blood Bowl and some Three Kingdoms, and
awesome.
Do the next step. So
that sounds great.
You can avail us with stories of the days when ogres brought 11 players instead of 6.
I will.
Goblins.
As much as I can remember, I'm quite willing to share. There's, as I've told everybody, having been the first treasurer for 7 years, 6, 7 years. There are certain things I will never reveal. They will never get told. There are a couple.
Depending on the alcohol we're serving.
Oh no, you can't even pay me enough to tell some of those stories. But
Jim actually knows where Hoff is buried.
I always preface that though, because I do kid about it. I always say there was never anything illegal going on, but there were several decisions about things. There were several things that people wanted to do that I look back and shake my head, going, we're. I was always the no person. Like I told James, like, no, we are not flying over to go to the grand tournament in London. No, nobody's getting a plane ticket to go over and do that kind of stuff. So,
we're not smuggling a guy in the luggage to go with us to the tournament. We are not doing that, okay? Right. Not unless we paid.
So I mean, it was an act of love is the only way I know how to describe those kinds of things when you're so into it and passionate, and everybody from John Lewis to Woody on the English. I mean, there were so many people that just saw this and enjoyed it and did it out of maybe love is too spiritual for them, but they did it out of a great enjoyment of the game and dedicated countless hours to making sure that prize packages got to tournament players. And I went through every night for more than an hour usually and saw that every person who had signed up on the NAF site got their stuff sent to them, because we used to send out a little plastic sheet that had the NAF ID card as part of it. Brian St. James had them made up in Montreal, and he would ship them out from there. And I made sure that everybody got their cards on. So I mean, from where we were to where we are now there's still a lot of people that feel that strongly about the game, and it's just such a pleasure for an old fart like me to come back and see. So, but speaking of old fart, I'm going to go to bed or at least have a drink and then go to bed. So
it's only 11:30 on the East Coast. You go to bed like it's early.
Well, and plus, I don't want to play all my cards. I've got to have a few stories left for down the road. So,
Jim, thanks for popping on and spending some time with us tonight.
Hey, no problem. I saw your message and really was just going to kind of tune in, and I probably still will, but I'm going to click off here and listen up. So you guys have a good night, and I'll see you later.
All right, I'll talk to you soon, Jim.
Good night, Jim. Hope to see you at Stunty Slam.
Yeah, you guys be good.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, he mentioned that he was going to come to both of those tournaments, the Friday the 13th, and so now I got confirmation. He'll definitely be. Ramsey will be thrilled.
Cool.
So there will be some adult beverages after that tournament on Saturday for sure.
See, I was going to ask you guys if there was ever going to be a tournament that was like, if you make a touchdown, you must have a shot of tequila, because that's the only chance I'm going to have at winning one.
I think the one that Clay is running is going to be that tournament. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's shaping up that way.
Yeah, I have a feeling when I go down to that one, I'd like to be a designated driver.
That's good, because we're going to need those.
Just to help people. They need help.
No, Josh, we have to see you drunk. It's going to be an experience.
No, when I get drunk, it's boring. I just get tired. I get slow.
You don't like
slow.
Wait. What was the story at your Super Bowl party that you had?
All right. Well, that was a little crazy.
I just remember something happened. What was it? Remind me.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I love my Ravens, and being a Ravens fan, I think you're required to hate the Patriots at some point, or at least hate Tom Brady.
That's an NFL thing, not just a Ravens.
Yeah. So, we have our Super Bowl, and the Ravens aren't in the Super Bowl, obviously, but there's the Patriots playing the Eagles this year, and I thought I was just eating and drinking throughout the day. I was like, I'm doing this the whole day. We got a huge potluck. There's tons of food. We'll come in and out. Everything would be fine, Didn't really think about regulating anything. I just kind of went along with it. Then it got to like the heated part where basically like I was waiting for Tom Brady to get hit. I was screaming at the television because man, I love watching different plays that happen on there, and that combined with lots and lots of alcohol and apparently not enough to eat. I thought I had enough. I kind of passed out on the floor on the pillow in front of everybody. That was pretty fun.
It's kind of like when you break his armor and then you roll 1 and 1 for the injury. That's what happened to Josh.
No, the bubble equivalent is when you go to hit somebody and you knock them down, and then the ref says, "Oh no, wait, foul, illegal, hitting our pretty boy Brady." But I know it's unfair to say that because I know he's a really great quarterback. But years of being a Ravens fan, God, sometimes I feel like some of the rules are made for players like him because they don't want to see him get injured. Blah blah blah. Either way, when I got severely hammered that night, I think at one point I screamed. I told Tom Brady to eat a bag of baby dicks. That was in front of everybody. That was at the top of my lungs. I think I passed out right after that. Pretty sure. My parents and everybody were here too.
Oh,
that was fun. I remember one of my other friends were asking. They're like, "Why did he say why baby dicks?" Sure,
because that's what your brain does when you're messed up. See, Josh, I imagine like when you get drunk, you turn into like Joe Pesci from Goodfellas. That's what I see. You think I'm funny? You think I'm a clown? Huh?
Think I'm funny?
That's just Friday nights. Now? Friday nights he does that.
Yeah, Friday nights. I love Joe Pesci. He's one of my favorites. Yeah.
So, if any of you were betting men, who would you think has the best shot at Stunty Slam? I'm putting my money on Josh and John. I like you, James, but I know John too, and he's gonna just.
Who's that?
John Alberto. John from like.
Oh, I don't. He doesn't play Stunty. I think he played Stunty one time. He played Goblins at a. I don't fear him in Stunty. I fear Josh in Stunty. I'm looking forward to a match that will probably happen, and Josh has already heard me say this before. So Ken Washington is coming down to our event. Now Ken is been playing Blood Bowl for a long time. He was actually at the original Three Kingdoms Challenge, and so we have the Voodoo Tournament Series. The East Coast up north has the Beast, and Ken has won more than once the Beast Tournament Series Stunty Pin. Josh is clearly going to win the Stunty Pin for this year. So at that event, I would say that the top two, and Liam is also very dangerous, and I'm hoping Mark goes. So if Mark goes, you got 4 amazing Stunty coaches, and I'm talking like, they're amazing in a full 11s against any team. So now they're going to be in a pure Stunty environment. So I see Josh, Ken, Liam, and Mark doing exceptionally well, and I wouldn't be surprised if any of the 4 of those make it to, are in the top 5 for points by the end of the night. So I don't know how I'm going to do it. I've never played Lizardmen. I played Lizardmen for a season of Blood Bowl in my league back in Wilkes-Barre, but I've never played them as a Stunty team. So this will be yet again a new experience in crossing them off my list and playing my last team. But skinks are pretty dangerous. They're fast, so we'll see what happens.
Armor 7, movement 8s, and might be strength 2, but still, a lot of those little guys is pretty nasty.
Everybody's going to be strength 2, though, except for your big guys.
Well,
yeah, unless you're playing ogres and your guys are strength 1 and 6 or 1 and 5.
Of all the teams, of all the Stunny type teams, like Stunny Lizards, I feel like are going to be one of your best. Just with the high movement skinks, you can move them like 4 squares in, and then all of a sudden you have 2 or 3 guys that are threatening to score.
Yep.
Like really, unless you're throwing a halfling or a goblin, no other halfling, no other stunty team can pull that off and just only move that many squares in.
And that's the only thing they don't have going for them is they don't have a throw option with the Crocs.
Yeah, but they don't need it.
Yeah, no, they don't.
They've got movement 8. They're going to be running around the guys that have been thrown.
Damn Skippy. And I know I'm not the only lizard coach. I want to say Ken Parks is probably playing lizards. Like he tends to play the same thing I'm playing. I'm not saying that he does that on purpose, but he does that on purpose. But he doesn't do that on purpose, but he does do that on purpose. But he may do that on purpose.
Won't be alone.
Yeah. I haven't seen any rosters yet. I mean, it's early. We're still 2 weeks out. I'm going to start asking, and the thing is, as a tournament organizer that I've got tired of is checking everybody's rosters. I check them if people send them. I don't make it mandatory. I usually have your round 1 opponent check the roster. And I've learned, and I'm telling you, I've seen this like numerous times where a round 1 coach will find a glaring error on the roster, and it's something that I might have missed. No one is going to check your roster harder than your first round opponent. So I generally have them check it. So pretty soon, I'm sure I'll start to see some rosters and get an idea as to, what we're looking at. But
I have a suggestion when it comes to that.
Sure.
So there are, we have some newer Blood Bowl coaches that come in. We had like Mickey and Rob, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Forcing them to look at somebody's round 1 roster is just a little unfair, especially because you have these guys that maybe they don't necessarily have all the rules for Khorne, or Bretonnians, or maybe like the newer version of Goblins, for instance. Because when I got them the rules, I got them the ZRP, and they kind of have Death Zone 1. Some people just don't know enough to be able to actually check it. I don't know. I'd offer maybe an option where you offer to go around and check it for somebody who's kind of new.
I don't disagree with you.
Kind of like how when my Norse were taking on your halflings, Josh, and I read your list and I see this rule called timber for one of your trees. I'm like, what's that supposed to mean?
Yep, pretty much just like that.
And everyone else is telling me, you need to check other people's list. I'm like, I don't know what to look for. I don't know.
Yeah, that's just the only thing. I'd say, maybe just like an announcement where you just say, if somebody really doesn't know the rosters that well or they want me to check it for you, be happy to walk by.
I'll ask Ramsey to do it. He'll be there to judge the painting. I'll have him come over and Rochambeau you if your roster doesn't meet snuff. I'm about to Rochambeau you. What does that mean? Oh, you're going to find out. Ow. God damn it. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Maybe I can have him be on roster duty. Or, I know Jim is coming over. I'm assuming he's going to play in those 2 events, but if he doesn't, then I can certainly ask him to pitch in as well.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
It sounds like a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the fun stuff. I still need to get some T-shirts for this stuff, but that'll be my own personal quest, I guess.
There you go. See, he's all done.
Save your pennies for the Florida Man T-shirt. It's coming.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, he's all done.
What are we doing?
Oh, nice.
Hang on, Josh. Hang on. Hold on for 1 second. I'm trying to focus.
Focus.
Okay. Focus, camera. Focus. All right. I can kind of see him now. He looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger became a vampire.
Yeah.
Pretty much. These are the ones given out at Alan's Bloody Valentine's. But so you were asking about people that donate for Stunty Slam. So I think John intended to give away the vampire team at Stunty Slam.
Yeah, he did, which was extremely generous of him for doing it and you for painting it.
That's why that's why I was painting these last 2. So now they're all done. So that's all done.
Better get that Facebook commission group thing going so that I can start plugging you on the page.
Yeah, I gotta figure. I've really got to look into prices, figure how they do it. I really don't want to be that guy that's backed up for 4 months and somebody doesn't get to their, doesn't get to the painting, but at the same time, I don't see a way around that possibly happening if a lot of people want it,
Well, you just take what you are willing to do. You know what I mean? You don't have to have a backlog of 10 teams where people are like, hey, when am I going to get my team? When am I going to get my team? You got to, that's kind of I don't know. Even Alexis had a backlog of stuff, but you take 1 team or 2 teams at a time, and then, when you're open for more, then you turn the tap back on and say, "Yeah, I'm open for more," and then you'll get more.
Yeah, I think that'll work. We'll do it that way.
Let's put it this way: knowing how you paint, you will always have a steady stream of projects. I feel it's just up to you as to how much you want to allow to come through the spigot.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've been painting a lot lately. Got Eric's team. I got these 3 guys going. Got the I have another team for Eric here too.
What was the second team that he gave you?
It's a Kislevite team.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. These looking guys.
Oh, cool.
I can't see them.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay. Yeah. I like the frogs as the slan for the Kislev.
They're cool. You know what I noticed about these guys though is like compare these to they're a little big on the scale.
Okay, you gotta bring them up. Camera view up.
Yeah.
There you go.
There.
Oh, there.
Right. They're like a little big on the scale. Just
who made those? Kislev. I think I know who. Gaspez Arts.
Yeah, Gaspez.
Yeah.
See, I was gonna do like a.
I don't care how big this bear is. This bear is awesome. Oh my god!
Is that part of his team, or did you end up getting the bear that Chris had?
No, the bear is in there. This is one of the best bears.
That looks like a package of crack. I don't know what that is.
Oh,
it's plastic crack. What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry. Well, isn't all Blood Bowl miniatures plastic crack?
You're damn right it is.
Yeah, it is. Costs as much, just as addictive.
Grab that stuff, take it home, crush it, and snort it.
Better.
Oh yeah, look at that. Even with one arm, he's still pretty badass.
Yeah, he is.
Look at those bear nuts. Look at them. Look at them.
That's so cool.
That's very cool.
I actually cannot see the bear nuts, and I'm not sure I want to.
I just made that up. I just wanted to see if anybody would be zooming in and going, "Where's the bear nuts?"
Oh. Yeah.
Very nice. He promised us bear nuts.
Make that a thing at Sunny Slant. Have like a little bowl of nuts. Like, those are bear nuts, man.
Yeah. No, actually, the next thing I got to make is for Sunny Slam is the pies. Everybody gets pie ball.
Pies.
Yep.
Wait, so you're just making like lots of those little pies like you had for the halflings?
Yeah.
And just handing them out?
Yeah.
He's got a Play-Doh factory that apparently takes green stuff.
It's the. I figured I'd share the source of my power for halflings. So it's what it is,
Dude, I watched your halflings like walk across the field at the Flex event, and I'm like, this is not how this is supposed to work.
Yeah, it's fine. It's there's a different way to play stunty, and it's not just about mitigating. Like in every Blood Bowl thing, you mitigate your dice rolls to the point where you risk less, you make your opponent risk more. But with halflings, like once you're done the important stuff, like once you've made like a decent cage, once you've gone away, then you start to hit things, with trees or and if you don't have a reroll and you're about ready to activate a tree, then you just leave the tree alone. That's if you don't have that, or if you don't have pro on the tree, for instance, like you always have to have that backup because there's no margin of error for stunning teams. There's none. You fail 1 or 2 rolls and you really can't make up for it. You fail 1 or 2 rolls like an elf team, and you got 3 or 4 people next man up. They're ready to pick up the ball, throw it wherever they want, 1 or 2 up.
Yeah.
You don't have that with halflings. So.
That's something that in the future, I don't know, I would like for it to be addressed, but I'm pretty sure if it is, the whole Blood Bowl community would like chop off GW's head in that there are specific teams that if you play, your chances of winning are a much higher percentage than like the lower tier 4 teams. Because like a brand new guy playing, Wood Elves versus a seasoned guy playing Ogres, the brand new guy playing the Wood Elves is a lot more advantage because his team is just naturally better at running around the field and dominating. That's just me. I'm not saying it should happen because I've played Ogres a few too many times, and on more than one occasion I've taken to the community and been like, these boneheads! But that's just me.
Yeah, that's another thing with ogres. Same thing, you can treat them like trees. Like if you don't have pro on them, and you're about ready to hit somebody, if you don't have a reroll banked,
Yeah.
Don't even activate them. Just leave them there. Just leave them. Promise.
Do you know who Jimmy Fantastic is?
No.
No? All right. Never mind. I promise it's not a gay porn star. Really, it's a guy.
Well, now I'm not interested.
You're not. All right, it's getting late, guys. It's almost midnight where I am. And I'm pretty sure we're all in the same time zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to pack it in. Ryan dropped off, and I looked at my phone, and he's like, yep, got to go. I'm like, no.
All right, well,
guys, thanks for being on it. Thanks for managing things while I was getting my technical difficulties taken care of.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we didn't have many people in the chat this time. It's all right, though.
We didn't even get to talk about Knuffles Wild 2.
No, we didn't.
But we'll have you on the next one we do. We can talk about that. And Jason, he was going to be on, and then he had some technical difficulties of his own. So we'll do another one before the August events, so sometime in July, and we'll talk about those events.
Cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
And James, I wish you luck on the toilet. Don't forget the probiotics.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to make my painting tray over the toilet bowl for this evening. Get a lot done.
I can perfectly picture that happening, believe it or not.
I don't know if that should worry me or make me happy.
I'm just wondering if you go with or without a shirt.
With or without shirt? Without. Too much sweat.
Okay,
I got to get this off me.
You're going to be totally nude on a toilet, sweating, painting miniatures at the same time while shitting out KFC.
Yes, exactly.
Yep, I can perfectly picture that.
That'll be my midnight to 2 a.m. Appointment.
Well, you're going to be starting about 2 minutes. So.
Yeah, I got to drive home. So.
Oh shit!
Weird. This says Liam and a few others were in the chat, but I didn't see them.
Yeah, they were. I was kind of every now and then just replying.
Okay, cool.
So we had some people in there. All right, guys. Thanks for being on tonight, and I will see you soon.
All right, sounds good.
Good seeing you guys.
Good night.
Good night.